everybody. Welcome to the big show. Hope you guys got a lot of rest. This is the one we've been waiting on. Roll call, answer for your wake-up call. AD, TV, graphics, cameras 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Field guys, TOC, and audio. Let's get the drive on. Camera 1, show me the dance floor. Number 2, pull on the drum major. Reading 4, that's it guys, touching the air. I want to know what's going on outside. Alright, taking that guy and put hard on the drum major. Roll the package. This is it, see the set. And here comes Chuck. We are live.
Welcome to Jacksonville, Florida, everybody. This is the 63rd Annual Orange Blossom Palmetto Classic, and this is your Ramsey Game Day experience. My name is Chuck Foch, and welcome to Alltel Stadium. We're sitting down in the Touchdown Club, most appropriate, because get ready for that touchdown and air attack and ground attack by the Rattlers of Florida A&M University and South Carolina State. Well, let's talk about this story. Let's talk about the field generals a minute. Let's talk about the cast of characters. The story is, this is, of course, a key MEAC conference matchup. Number 18, 1AA, is FAMU. Then, on the other side, number 8 in the Sheridan poll is South Carolina State. Well, the Orange Blossom Palmetto Classic is a merger of two classics. The older, of course, belongs to Florida A&M, and the younger was South Carolina State with just a few years. These guys have put this thing together in Jacksonville, Florida, in hopes of attracting a little bit of a better crowd. It is, of course, the 41st meeting, and the first back in 1930. The Rattlers, of course, lead the series. Now, the directors, the guys who will be calling the shots on today, South Carolina State's head coach Willie Jeffries is now in his 17th season at his alma mater. He is, of course, the winningest football coach in South Carolina State history and MEAC history. On the other side, they call him Billy Joe, the head coach of Florida A&M University, with a record of 45 wins and 18 losses at FAMU and an overall record of 196 wins, just 80 losses and 4 ties. Well, this story must be told on today. My name is Chuck Foch, and you better believe we've got the Battle of the Bands coming up at halftime. But before we get to that, we've got 2 quarters of non-stop, high-energy impact football, the very best in black college football, with Florida A&M University and South Carolina State. Well, up top, to take it away, the 3 horsemen are in the sky. The czar, Dr. Walter Reed, the play-by-play, Mr. Ron January, and Byron Franklin will pick it apart. All right, guys, it's showtime.
Thank you very much, Chuck, and welcome once again, everybody, to Alltel Stadium in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm Ron January, and Walter Reed, you got to tell me about those Florida A&M Rattlers.
Well, Ron, Coach Billy Joe is in his 6th season, at Florida A&M University. He's beaten South Carolina State the last 4 years, and his offense has been sputtering. So he's expecting to kind of get his offense going today. And one of the ways that he's expecting to get it going, he's made a change at the quarterback position. We'll have this kid Sider, who's a transfer from West Virginia, who would jumpstart his offense. But he also expects his 2 great receivers, Nunley and Lamb, to pick up the slack and do something that they have not done for the early part of the season. One of the things that we can also expect is that FAMU's offensive line averages 324 pounds, and you can expect this big offensive line to push the kids from South Carolina State around today.
Thank you very much, Walt. And Byron, a little bit about the South Carolina State Bulldogs.
Well, you're just going to be looking at Derek O'Neal. He's the leading rusher in the MEAC, and he's the leading rusher for the team. South Carolina averages about 280 yards on the ground, so you're going to see a lot of running from them, but they're going to need a lot of help from some other guys on offense if they're going to be 3-0 today.
There you have it, everybody. We'll be back with the kickoff in just a moment. This is the Ramsey Game Day Experience.
Welcome back to the Orange Blossom Palmetto Classic. It's brought to you by M South Bank, the relationship people, by Brian Foods, the flavor of the South, by Parisian and Tommy Hilfiger. Get a good look. By the United States Marine Corps, the few, the proud, the Marines. by the United States Postal Service. Exclusive delivery for the 1999 Ramsey Classic Tour. This is the Ramsey Game Day Experience, and you're in the Orange Blossom Palmetto Classic. Up to you guys.
All right, everybody. We just saw a run back there by Travion Turner. Number 21 brings it out to the 20-yard line. He was hit pretty hard by John Shivers, and he's a defensive back from Columbia, South Carolina.
Number 23.
First down for the Florida A&M Rattlers. Ball on the 22-yard line.
Florida A&M's coming out in that traditional look of theirs with the 4 wide receiver spread, and you know that they're looking to do a lot of running and shooting with the game today.
The quarterback is Jawan Sider in the shotgun. Up the middle is Kenneth Williams. Williams brings it out to the 27-yard line. He's brought down by Andre Pounds from Atlanta, Georgia.
Ron, South Carolina State is in the basic 4-3 defense to hopefully slow down this passing attack that they are expecting.
Pick up 6. 2nd and 4.
2nd and 4. Sider being chased in the back, brought down. Going to be a loss of about 2.
For offensive line now, you got Derek Gay and Damian Griffin and James Agnew, Freddie Moore. The center is Salofi Nui. The wide receivers and backs are Jacquez Nunley, Kanan Lamb, Cedric Mitchell, Ken Williams, and Travell Williams.
A loss of about 5 yards of that play. Here's a complete.
Completion, number 19.
We got the defensive line with a 3 front. It's led by Antonio Williams, the big old nose tackle who's weighed 340 pounds.
First and 10.
The linebacking crew is led by Justin Dana, who's leading the MEAC conference in tackles. It's a great group. And the defensive secondary is led by Stephon Kelly.
Williams up the middle again, brings it across the 40-yard line, down to about the 43, brought down by Adrian McLeod.
On the stop. Love.
The Rattlers are going with a no-huddle right here, trying to confuse the defense, keep them from substituting so much.
From the 42.
2nd and 5 in the shotgun. Williams again. Williams brings it to the 45.
Williams is a big fullback. He's 6'1", 236 pounds, a senior from Baltimore, Maryland.
Nice tackle by Travis Love.
Kenneth Williams, the ball carrier.
3rd and 2.
3rd and 2. Rattlers from the 45.
Sider keeps taking it up the middle. Here's Williams again.
Ball is out.
The Bulldogs got it.
South Carolina State recovered. Williams fumbles the football.
Ron, that's a classical example of the back trying to get that extra yard, and normally that can occur when you're trying to get that extra yard right, Byron, because you're working your shoulders, your arms, and everything, and if you watch the play there, you can see that he was trying to get the extra yard to help his team score up first.
That's right. Got to put that ball away, though.
Looks like we had John Shivers coming up with that fumble.
Hear it. Feel it. The Ramsey Game Day Experience.
Up the middle goes the Bulldogs.
Ron, you pick a tackle. I can't pick one. They all look like 8 guys right around the ball. And
that's what you call gang tackling.
Gang tackling at his best.
One thing for sure, big number 97 was in there. Yep. Tyrone Johnson from out of Miami. He was definitely in the mix.
And Ronnie is a big one. 6'1", 280.
2nd and 10. From the 45.
Craig James, your quarterback. Pitches it out. It's picked up, or should we say a nice recovery.
You got away with one that time.
Derek O'Neal, 37 O'Neal with
the offensive line for South Carolina, you got Lewis Kelly and Steve Coleman. You got Jermaine Hannon and David Aubrey and Dewan Flagger. Your backs and receivers are Johnny Loper, Chris Rush, Arthur Love, Stanley Stevens, and Chad Edey.
For the Bulldogs from the 49.
Pick up a 4 yards on that last play by Derek O'Neill from Gainesville, Florida. 3rd and 6. Swings one out, complete to Chris Ross.
That was a good job of running after the catch to get that first down.
Ron, if you take a look at the front four for Florida A&M University, it's led by Tyrone Johnson, the guy's name that you just got through calling, who's a big old deep end out of Miami, Florida. The linebackers are led by Grover Fields, who's an All-American, all-conference predicted to be, and the secondary is led by Vernon Mitchell. Vernon Mitchell, a great cornerback.
Chris Ross picked up a first down. Here's Derek again. Derek O'Neill around the right guard down to the 40. He's brought down by Anthony Cola.
O'Neill, the ball carrier.
You wouldn't say Anthony Coca-Cola, would you?
And a 2nd and 7.
You can see South Carolina, they've got a more traditional offense. They got a tight end in there. You know, although now this time they've taken the tight end out and they put a slot receiver in. But they're running what you might call a more conventional offense.
Tosses one downfield. Nobody's there. Nobody's even in the area down near the 10-yard line.
Yeah, anytime you see something like that happen, somebody made a mistake. Either the quarterback thought that there was going to be an out pattern there, or the receiver ran the wrong route. Anytime you have a quarterback that just blatantly throw a pass that far out of line of any of his players, somebody ran the wrong way.
Yeah, that's definitely the case, Ron, because the quarterback was not rushed. It was just, like Byron said, really a misread.
And 7.
Greg James gives it up the middle. O'Neill down to about the 37. He was brought down by Othello Vaughn from Decatur, Georgia. He's down to a 4th down and 3.
What you do here, Byron?
Well, what I do?
Yeah.
I throw the ball. You asking a receiver? What you talking about? You asking a wide receiver, what would you do? You throw the ball,
Throw
man.
the ball. All right.
Down to throw once again is O'Neill up the middle, and as we said earlier, O'Neill is that premier player for the Bulldogs. He's the one that's running. He's the leader in the MEAC so far this season.
But now, honestly, what you do is, now that I've seen the play, what you do is you give it to the man that leads in rushing. That's what you do.
Tyrone Johnson brought him down.
A good after call.
That's right. You never ask an offensive guy, especially a wide receiver, what would you do in this situation? Hey, you throw it.
So in other words, give me my number.
Give me my ball.
Picks up a first down. So O'Neill again. O'Neill picks up about 3.
O'Neill, the ball carrier.
Brought down by Corey Johnson of Miami.
All right, at Killian High School. Turned out a lot of great athletes.
54, Corey Johnson.
9 minutes and ticking in the first quarter.
Pick up of 1. 2nd and 9.
No score.
From the 37.
You're looking at the band of South Carolina State. The rough Bulldogs. James back to pass, tosses it across the middle, incomplete. Intended for Monte Strokes. Down at about the 15.
That was a really soft pass that the quarterback threw over the middle then. Really, anytime you're throwing that ball in the center like that, you've got to shoot it in and hit the guy in a spot. You can see on our replay that he's dropping back. He's really looking for his guy, but you see he didn't have a whole lot of zip on that pass. He kind of lobbed it in there. That's something that he has to be able to do if he's going to complete passes in the middle, is zip the ball on in there. So that makes for a real uncomfortable feeling for that wide receiver when that ball just barely comes across there.
3rd and 9. O'Neill breaks loose. O'Neill up the middle, down to the 15.
Derek O'Neal, that's your leading rusher in the MEAC right there.
Donnell Vickers brings him down out of Miami. It's a saving tackle there.
You know, it's no surprise that they're having such a great run game. Close friend of mine, ex-teammate of mine, Edwin Bailey, was a star guard at Seattle with the Seahawks. He's doing a great job of blocking. He's teaching these guys how to block, man.
First and 10. It's a pitch out. O'Neal breaking up the middle. O'Neal brings it down to the 11. He's brought down by Cedric Bird. Cedric Bird out of Atlanta.
I'm up here listening to this guy talking about why South Carolina's getting on the ground. They get it on the ground because they open holes, not because
There's a great coach down there, teammate of mine. Seattle, Edwin Bailey, did a wonderful job there, and it's no surprise that he's teaching these offensive linemen how to open these holes.
2nd and 6. O'Neal again, and they're starting to get O'Neal's number. Drops it at the 11 is Sharon Daly.
On the tackle, Daly.
Also, we see Edey in the backfield back there. So far, he hasn't had a chance to get a handle on that ball. Chad Edey, number 1 in the backfield for South Carolina. See coming out of the ball game is number 82. Coming in is number 81, Monte Strokes.
Ron, as Byron say all the time, they in the red zone now. If you can't punch it in from when you get in the red zone, you're not going to win many ball games.
It's 3rd and 6. Here's James, decides to keep it. James with maybe a gain of about 3 yards.
James, the ball carrier.
Big number 75, Terrence Woodward, is there to make the stop. Brings it pretty close to a first down.
Byron, this is the second 4th down. He's got 4th and 1. I tell me we're going to pass it, and I'm going to outplay.
We're going to pass. Now, realistically, you give it to the guy that brought you to the show.
Exactly right.
You give it to the man that's at the top of the rushing list from the MEAC right now.
Exactly right.
But if I was in there, I'd want you to pass it.
Here's the chance, 4th and 1.
There he is.
He's there.
There he is.
He's going to make it to the end zone.
That's right.
O'Neal.
Give it to the guy that brought you to the show.
Derek O'Neal.
It's amazing how South Carolina took the ball and went right down the field after recovering the fumble. I thought sure that FAMU's defense would do a better job of slowing them down since they know that South Carolina State force is rushing. And I thought they'd do a better job. But let's give some credit to Byram's teammates' offensive blocking line because they did carry them right on down the field.
This is Jay Livingston for the extra. Kick is up, and it's good.
It's good.
And 1.2.
Ron, what did you see there? A straight-ahead kicker. Something that we have not seen. And I don't know. Byron, when the last time you seen a straight-ahead kicker?
That was Dempsey down in New Orleans, wasn't it?
Okay, let's take a pause with the scores. South Carolina 7, FAMU nothing. This is the Ramsey Game Day Experience.
Another look at this replay on the touchdown. You can see it's just a traditional dive play. You got a power play inside with your fullback leading in, with your tailback coming in behind him, and again, you got the leading rusher in the conference. You give him the ball and let him go and see what he can do, and he ended up not only getting the first down, Walt, but he ended up getting a touchdown.
And that's what it's all about, isn't it?
That's right.
Putting something on the board.
That's right.
You're looking at the kicker, Frank Ziegler. Ziegler is going to be pretty busy today. Frank Ziegler also is the punter. It's going to go to Turner. Turner takes it up the middle, down to the 29.
Not much action up in there.
Turner. The United States Postal Service is proud to sponsor the Orange
Turner made about
Blossom
close to a 19-yard return on that run. He was brought down by Andre Pounds from Atlanta, Georgia.
Available at your local post office or by calling 1-800-STAMP-24.
FAMU's going with a no huddle again.
Kenneth Williams in the backfield along with Ron Sider in the shotgun formation. Sider back to pass. Tosses one across field. Complete. Down at the 50-yard line to Cedric Mitchell from Miami, Florida.
Cedric is one of those two receivers that's out there that they're really looking to step in and make some big plays. I understand last week they dropped a lot of balls against Tennessee State. And so what they're trying to do now is to get the rhythm back and catch some passes and get back into the flow of that wide open offense that they have.
Early in the program, we talked that Walt was telling us that this will be a passing game for Florida A&M. But as we see, Kenneth Williams trying to take it up the middle, makes a gain of about 2, maybe 3 yards.
Kenneth Williams, the ball carrier.
Kenneth Williams is from Baltimore, Maryland. They call him Big Kenny down there in Rattler territory.
Kenny.
Brought down by Byron Githers.
Antonio Williams, 79 Williams.
2nd down and 8.
A pickup of 2. 2nd and 8 from the 47.
Sider back to pass. Throws one long. Got a man. Oh, just overthrows him just a little bit. And the intended receiver is Robert Walton.
Ron, that was played perfect by number 16, Dario Criminger from Georgetown, South Carolina. He was the safety, the free safety, and he rolled. They false cued him and made him throw in the double coverage, and he had him well covered. He was covered as well as a receiver can be covered.
We have a 3rd and 8. Shotgun formation again for the Rattlers. No huddle. Sider again looking long. This time complete at the 29. And is complete to Jacque Nunley, if I'm not mistaken.
Jacque is the other receiver that they're expecting some big plays out of today. They're your two main receivers, and Nunley is one of the two players who hadn't really had the kind of year that they've been expecting them to have, and they're looking to turn that around today.
Williams taking it up the middle, sort of like a surprise for him, brings it inside down to the 24-yard line. He's brought down by Damon Johnson, who's out of Katy, South Carolina.
2nd and 4 from the 23.
Ball on the 23. Sider, another complete pass to Nunley. Nunley switching around for a little room, brings it in down to the 14-yard line. Brought down by John Shivers from Columbia, South Carolina.
And see, what you have here is this no-huddle offense. This no-huddle offense spreads the defense all out. They don't have a chance to come in together and talk the strategy over. It keeps you off balance. And in the meantime, you just dink the ball down the field.
Sider this time in and out of the hands of Cedric Mitchell down at the 12.
Ron, if you'll notice that South Carolina State has gone out of the tradition front 4 and out here in a 3 to try to slow down this passing attack. But if they continue to let these receivers find the soft area in the zone that they're trying to play, it's going to be tough on them for the rest of the day.
Well, Walt, one of the things that spread offense does is it creates gaps automatically. Right. So if you got a good pitch and catch with the quarterback and receiver and they're on the same page,
wide open
like that, it's touchdown city.
Cedric Mitchell.
Call that one pretty good. They find in the soft spots in that zone. If you notice that zone roll over to the left side, and he just came inside, and he was wide open from Jump Street.
That's right.
He was wide open.
It creates a lot of confusion. You know, who's picking up who? Right. Who's supposed to get this guy? When they shift out and they run those different routes and they spread out, the defensive backs don't have a chance to communicate with each other, and that's what the no huddle does. It cuts out communication with the defense, and if they don't communicate, then it's hard to be able to know who's covering. And right now, we got a huge play.
It was blocked by Jerry Mitchell and going down for
a touchdown.
Touchdown.
No, it's not a touchdown, Ron. It's 2 points. It's the same as what if you got a safety, because the defense can run it back, and that's what you got there. 2 points. That make the score 9-6.
Thanks for the verification on that. That was Johnny Loper on the run back on that one.
If it's one thing that both of these teams are absolutely weak at, it's their kicking game.
But what you got to give credit, big old number 71, Patrick Hurd, who they said was not going to play today. He's 6'8", weighed 350 pounds, bust through the line of scrimmage, and was almost standing right in front of the holder when the kid kicked him out. Let's give him credit for that. Even though he didn't run it back, he was the man that destroyed the whole offensive line.
Absolutely.
That was blocking for the
Absolutely.
You're talking about surprises in this ball game. That was a surprise.
Oh, yeah. I know them to Florida A&M, it really was.
A block kick can change the whole outcome of a ball game. South Carolina 9, FAMU 6.
Tonight at 6. See it, hear it, feel it. The Ramsey Game Day Experience.
Stanley Stevens is dropping back deep for South Carolina Bulldogs, along with Chris Russ.
Back deep for the kickoff. 45, Stevens. 7, Russ. Kicking off for the Rattlers, number 12.
You're looking on your screen to Jeremy Edwards. He's the guy who tried to get the extra point and it was blocked by him, but here's his kick. This is a good high one. Going to go to Stevens at the 14. Stevens at the 30. And finally brought down at the 39. So with the score, South Carolina leading 9, FAMU 6. This is the Ramsey Game Day Experience. We're back at Alltel Stadium in Jacksonville, Florida for the Orange Blossom Palmeda Classic. South Carolina State leading Florida A&M 9-6. It's a first down and 10. Ball on the 40 for the South Carolina State Bulldogs.
Right, I had the opportunity to talk to the athletic director from South Carolina State yesterday. He's really enthusiastic about this game and felt like that it was a big plus for both of the two universities' athletic programs.
Passing situation, intercepted by Florida A&M. Coming down with it is Aaron Gray.
And Aaron did a great job of going up over the top. That ball never should have been thrown because he had double coverage. First of all, the receiver was supposed to release outside. When you go inside, you're just that much closer to your safety. What he should have done was gone outside, and that would have shown him, let the quarterback know that that was not the throw for him to make.
Yes, a good pass, the quarterback reads the safeties, right?
That's right.
Because he has to key off of the safeties because a one-on-one, our average receiver would be the cornerback. The safety is the man that can kind of key him off and make him throw in the double coverage, and that's what happened then. And it was clearly you could just see who was going to intercept it. So, right. Ron, I think he would have been better just to keep that one.
Yes, I believe it was kind of surprised just to see him let it go anyway. It wasn't a well-thrown pass. It looked kind of like it was wobbly when he let it go. It just didn't have the distance or anything, and right into the hands of Aaron Gray.
Okay, we're looking at this replay. You see the quarterback's letting the ball go. If you just look right now, you see the receivers sandwiched between the cornerbacks, the safety and the cornerback. He's supposed to be outside of number 31 right there. But because he was sandwiched between the two, he didn't have a chance.
Ron, what you had there was a win. That was a win injury. You know, I think that's what happened when he came down. It just, the way he hit the surface, probably knocked the wind out of him, and that's all wrong with him. I know he'll be back on the next series when they get on defense.
And we're glad to see that.
Well, we got Florida A&M's offense back out on the field, and as you can tell that the defense been out there a little while. You know, they could really end up getting exhausted here if they don't do a little bit on offense for South Carolina to keep the defense off the field.
Here's Snyder in the shotgun.
They got 5 wide receivers in the game.
Intended for Nunnally. A little bit overthrown. Just a little bit more and he would have been gone.
Yeah, he was wide open like Byron said a few moments ago. They find him They are finding their open areas in the zone, and if you notice it, he's at least 5 yards from anyone when the ball gets there, and it could have easily been 6.
Now, I'll tell you what's happening here. They've taken the running back out of the game. They've got 5 wide receivers. Defense now, they should go after that quarterback. You should never let him get away with that.
Got plenty of time, and a complete to Cedric Mitchell on the 49.
There's no way you can let the quarterback stand back there like that without any real heat on him, because he will pick you apart.
And what a hit by Stephon Kelly from out of Dorchester, South Carolina.
Here you have it again. See, you have 5 wide receivers, nobody to protect in the backfield. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to cover with all defensive backs and linebackers. But there's just no way you can do it. See, there'll always be a guy open.
There's Nutley again. Gain of about 2.
The completion.
Stopped by Damon Johnson.
Ron, another thing that's happening right here. I doubt very seriously if South Carolina State has spent a lot of time practicing on covering 5 receivers. So like Byron said, it's causing all kind of confusion in the secondary.
Here we go again. A gain of 3 on the last play. 2nd down and 7. This time he has to come out of that pocket, finds a little bit of room as he brings it down pretty close to the 40 and almost close to a first down.
Now, that's what Byron was talking about a while ago. If you put that kind of pressure on him, Byron, it causes a lot of havoc as it relates to him being able to sit back there and get his receivers time to find the open pockets in the defense.
On the pickup. 3rd and 1.
Just 1 yard to go. Decides to keep it. Got it easily. Brings it down to the 30. Still on his feet. Finally brought down at the 25-yard line.
You're gonna have to put some heat on that quarterback. You're really just giving him free reign.
Yeah, Travis Love made the tackle there, but you can bet your bottom dollar that when Coach Billy Joe put Sidey in there, he didn't intend for him to run. If you take a look at his trip down the field in, you know the reason for it.
That's right.
We got 2 minutes and 7 seconds left in this first quarter. It's 9-6. South Carolina State holding the lead, and the Rattlers are threatening. Here's one going up the middle. It's Kenneth Williams.
Williams, the ball carrier.
Ron, we got a flag on this one, and I didn't see any motion in FAMU's backfield, so it's going to probably either be somebody lined up offside.
If you look over at the defensive side of the ball right now, every single defensive player's got his hands on his hip. You know what that's about? That's because there's no huddle, and they're not getting time to really rest or come together and, like I said before, communicate with each other. So, you really got it's pandemonium on defense right now. Nobody knows who's going to cover what area. Nobody knows what they're going to do. And the end result is FAMU is going down and marching down the field.
Going to put the ball on the 20-yard line. 1:54 left in the ball game's first quarter. And shotgun is what we're seeing today from the Rattlers of Florida A&M. Looking, got plenty of time, and it's underthrown. Intended for Cedric Mitchell down on the 11-yard line.
Cedric Mitchell.
They did a good job there of putting a little bit more pressure on the quarterback. But there's going to have to be a little bit more brought, maybe even from the corners. Normally what defenses will do, they'll bring the corner that's closest to the inside receiver. They'll just bring that guy, shoot him straight to the quarterback, and think that they can get to him before he can get to the guy he just ran away from.
2nd and 5, and did you see that little shove? It's Williams again, across the left guard, brings it down to the 13.
Ron, I believe that right here, if Florida A&M would stay on the ground, if you look at every time they come up after a play, all of the defensive linemen from South Carolina State put their hands on the hips. That means they're out of game. And all you got to do is just keep pushing, and they can run this ball right on in the end zone.
Rattlers have picked up a first down. Sider connects.
You see, it's just not a whole lot that they can do right now without putting pressure on that quarterback. He's doing a good job of finding the open guy. And here again, there's a no huddle.
Canaan Lamb brought down by John Shivers.
Walt, I believe they run the ball a little bit more than expected today.
Yeah, they are, because they got this passing attack, got them loose.
Ball on the 8-yard line.
Gain of 6 yards on the last play. Up the middle. Williams Williams still trying to struggle a little bit as he brings it down to the 2, maybe 3-yard line. 38 seconds left in the ball game. The clock is still ticking on him. Nice tackle by Adrian McLeod.
Adrian's a freshman from Winston-Salem. Why not at Winston-Salem State? Let him get out of Winston-Salem to South Carolina State.
First.
That's one that got away.
Got away.
Ball on the 2-yard line.
We've got a timeout on the field with the score: Florida A&M 6, South Carolina 9. This is the Ramsey Game Day Experience.
The Orlando Miracle, Sunshine Network, first in Florida sports.
Back at Alltel Stadium with the score: South Carolina State 9, FAMU 6. 34 seconds left in the ball game's first quarter, and the Rattlers are threatening at the 2-yard line.
We got the 4 wide receiver set, and we got our running back in the backfield again.
Touchdown. Complete to Nunley.
Ronnie Wall, that's what you call a sneak pass. You know, you fake the dive play to your running back, then you come around like you're going to throw an option, and you hit that sneak pass right there to your slot receiver. And again, if you don't put pressure on the quarterback, you give him time to do these things.
Okay, Ron, right now we lined up for the extra point. I can bet you about $1 that they were no linemen were told if they had to block him now, and they did a better job, and now we got a ball game of 13-9.
Extra point good by Jeremy Edwards. He redeemed himself from the last play. Florida A&M has taken the lead.
Walt, you said something a little while ago that I just want to remind you that you said. You said the wide receiver one-on-one could beat a cornerback every time. Remember saying that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind you that.
If you don't rush the quarterback, I agree with you. Slow as I am, I probably could find an open spot. But Ron, the kicker didn't redeem himself. After that offensive line that was blocking for the extra point try got chewed out there on the sideline, let's say they redeemed themselves. Well, I know they got it over there on the sideline. Knowing Coach Billy Joe like I know him, Coach Jimmy Joe, who is the offensive coordinator, I can know he got in their back pocket over there by letting that kid come right up the middle. We got a nice crowd here, Ron, too, and they're still coming in, so they're expecting somewhere between 25 and 35,000 people at this football game, with about 15 or 20 coming from the state of Florida and the rest of them coming from South Carolina, and South Carolina is well represented.
Look at that Jeremy Edwards. He's the kicker punter for the Florida A&M Rattlers. Back deep is Chris Buss and Johnny Lopez. This is going to go to Johnny Lopez. Lopez is going to be caught and slammed down at the 12-yard line. What a tackle.
You got to run the ball up the field on the kickoff team.
He'll bite him from out of Charleston, Mississippi.
All right. They got 2 or 3 of them. Well, what folks got to understand is that Coach Moore, the defensive coordinator, is a native of Mississippi, so therefore he recruits the Mississippi area. You'll see a sprinkling of kids out of the state of Mississippi. That's one that we let get away, Ron.
18 seconds left, 13-9, FAMU ahead. Craig James is your quarterback. Handoff to Derek O'Neal. O'Neal brings it back to the line of scrimmage.
Ron, from a defensive point of view, one of the things is that if you're out there by yourself, number 47, that time Anthony Kohler was in the backfield, had the kid for a 5-yard loss. Everybody looking at him miss a tackle, even though the kid got back to the line of scrimmage, and now we are in at the end of the first quarter.
I was just going to say that Derek O'Neal did a great job then. The defense broke through the line, got penetration in the backfield, but he did an excellent job of getting up the field without a loss.
So at the end of the quarter, with Florida A&M 13 and South Carolina State 9, this is the Ramsey Game Day Experience. Welcome back to Alltel Stadium with the score: Florida A&M 13, South Carolina State 9. We're at the beginning of the second quarter. We have a 2nd and 9 situation coming up. The ball will be on the 16-yard line. That is South Carolina State's own 16-yard line, and they'll start from there.
South Carolina has been needing to get somebody else involved in the offense now. I mean, it's obvious that Derek O'Neal is going to be a major part, and they're going to start keying on him and locking him down. They're going to have to start throwing the football.
There's O'Neal. Around the right corner, finding a little room, and finally brought out of bounds at about the 37-yard line.
Ron, Florida A&M thought they had him hemmed up. That was just a good burst of speed and balance. As you said, he walked the chalk line. If you're watch him. He's walking the chalk line, and he just got that little push that caused him to step on the line. The official was in perfect position to make that call, and this kid is a great runner. I agree with you. They're going to have to find some other way to supplement him, but this kid is a great runner.
Mr. O'Neal just showed you why he's leading the conference right there in rushing.
Everything that was mentioned at the beginning of the game is coming true. The run against the pass, and I tell you.
But you can look at the defense now. They're stacking inside.
This time it goes to Edey. Edey up the middle. Sort of like used O'Neal as a decoy that time. They were zeroing in on him, but he wasn't there.
If you look at the defensive secondary, they are almost 11 deep across the front line.
Cedric Bird made the tackle. He's from Havana. Northside High School.
They are daring South Carolina to throw the football right now. They brought their defensive backs up. They got the linebackers stacked in the line. Everybody's stacked up front because they're trying to cut off Mr. O'Neal. If you take a look at it, you see them all walking up right now. They're daring them to throw the football.
Well, he's going to throw it, and it's incomplete, intended for Monte Stokes, down on about the 36.
Byron, you're so right. They are walking. They got 9 men.
That's right.
Within almost you say on the line of scrimmage. If the tight end could do anything, but I can know what's happening. That Chris Moore got him. Clifton Moore got that offensive tight end will never leave the line of scrimmage, because if they let him get off the line of scrimmage, they could eat him alive with what I wouldn't call it. We used to call old dump pays.
Well, now's a good time for South Carolina to run a deep pattern, to soften that secondary, to back those guys up. It's nothing like throwing a deep ball that'll soften the secondary up.
2 wide receivers down to your left. James back, got plenty of time, splits one out to Chris Russ. Russ, about a yard away from making a first down.
Got to get up the field there. He had an opportunity to take on the defenders and get a first down, but he tried to run around him.
Nice tackle by Vernon Mitchell. Hayward Jackson all in there on this play.
That was Chris Russ on that reception.
Well, one thing, Byron, is that, and you and I both are aware of the fact, is that the football players should always know their position on the field.
Right.
If this kid had just realized the fact that all I need is to just drop my head and go another step forward, I got a first down, and we would have had a first down instead of maybe 4th and 1.
That's right.
You're right. He could have made that.
Right.
Just a little bit more effort. But we've got a pretty good ball game so far. Look at 13-9 scores, and this is not an easy scores that came along. Had a block kick there, and 2-yard run. It's been kind of tough fight here this afternoon. But they're going to measure for this and see how close it is for this first down. As you can see on the screen, the Bulldogs mascot. This is what they call the Orange Blossom Palmetto Classic. It's been resumed from after years of being away for some time.
Well, no, Ron, this is the first time they've had the Orange Blossom Palmetto Classic. They've had the Orange Blossom Classic since 1933.
We were here last year.
And the Palmetto Classic, I think, started in 1990 or maybe 1991, and it was played in Columbia, South Carolina. But the 2 athletic directors, Coach Ken Riley and Dr. Archer, got together and said, hey, man, let's combine these, and both of us can make some money. And that's why we're where we are today. This is the first combination.
As you can see right here, just what it would have meant to South Carolina if that receiver had dropped his head and dove forward. They would have had a first down instead of giving the ball back to Florida A&M and putting their defense back out there on that field.
Punt by Frank Ziegler. Here's Swoops. Swoops going to take it at the 28-yard line, and he's going to leave it right there. Penalty marker goes down, and that's going to be called on number 6, it looks as though. That's Alex Forston. So with the score, Florida A&M 13, South Carolina State 9, this is the Ramsey Game Day Experience.
It is more than a trial by fire. It is a rite of passage. And if you can master your fear, outsmart your enemy, and never yield even to yourself, you will be changed forever. The few, the proud, the Marines.
There's big news in the shipping business. Now there's a shipper that confirms your packages were received. A shipper that uses digital scanners, lets you check on delivery by phone or internet, and can save you up to 65% over 2-day services. Which one is it?
The U.S. Postal Service.
Introducing delivery confirmation for priority mail. So, now what's your priority?
It's time, classic time. Columbus, Georgia, get ready. The granddaddy from Atlanta, Georgia, Morehouse College, travels to Columbus to face SIAC champion Tuskegee University. The Ramsey Game Day Experience is on for the 64th annual Rivertown Classic. The best games, the best fans, and definitely the best bands. This is Black College football, and this is your Ramsey Game Day Experience.
About Ryan, that's what I like about the sound.
There we have it, everybody, back at Alltel Stadium in Jacksonville, Florida, where the Florida A&M University Rattlers are leading the Bulldogs of South Carolina 13-9.
Would you like to swap places with the guy that had on the screen just there? Oh,
no.
Man.
From the 41.
First down, ball on the 41. Complete pass to Nunley at the 45. Nunley pretty close to a first down. And you're talking about that special extra effort. Did you see him actually doing that just then, trying to make that extra extra? He saw the marker over on the side, and he said, I need that first down. He went for it. Stephon Kelly was there to make the stop.
Yeah, what's happening, Ron, is that this secondary of South Carolina State is so pass conscious. When the ball is snapped, they are retreating, and all FAMU's doing is coming under the coverage.
Picked up the first down. Complete. Down at the 40 is Kanan Lamb. Kanan Lamb down at the 33.
That's Lamb.
Lamb brought down by Justin Danner from Orangeburg, South Carolina.
Walt, you're exactly right. The defensive front, they come in pretty hard, but your secondary, they're backing up. And of course, they don't want to get anybody behind them, but you just got to be aggressive and go after that quarterback and try to put some quick heat on him and force him to throw that ball.
First down with the ball on the 33. This time he decides to keep it and takes it up the middle for a gain and a first down to the 22-yard line.
As you can see, if he feels like that there's no pressure, then he's going to automatically take off and run. He's got the choice of whether to run or whether to dump the ball off to one of his receivers in the seams out there.
Ezekiel Gamble made a game-saving tackle on that one. Jawan Sider, the fit-in quarterback for Quinn Gray, who got injured in last week's game, is doing an excellent job here this afternoon. Jawan Sider back in the backfield. In the shotgun formation, flag goes down, scrambling, and he's finally caught behind the line of scrimmage down at the 26.
All but no, South Carolina State was offside. But that's what Byron was talking about, Ron. You got to put a rush on him. You got to start him to moving around out of desperation, not playing moving around. And that's what happened there, but he just got off the ball just a little early.
You have what you call a nickel defensive back in the game, with your fifth defensive back. And what he should do is he should come right off that outside linebacker. Of course, he'll be leaving his guy, but what they do is they play zone on that side with your corner and your safety. They just play a zone defense on that side, send that extra corner, and he'll go in there scot-free and nail that quarterback. And what they got to do is they're going to have to do that. If they don't do that, then the quarterback is either going to run or pick them apart and go down the field, and just like they're doing right now, they're just marching toward the goal line.
if you look, each one of them, the whole entire secondary is from 7 to 10 yards deep.
That's right. See, number 24, he's looking inside now on the slot receiver down here on our side. What he should do is just take off and go for the quarterback and let them play zone on that side with those two the corner and the safety.
Kenneth Williams across the left guard for a gain of maybe 2 yards, brought down by Marco Jones out of Greer, South Carolina.
I know Greer's proud of this kid. He's playing for the institution that's in the state of South Carolina, and he's representing the city of Greer well.
The Rattlers got the ball on the 12. No huddle offense is what we've been seeing all afternoon long, and it's been working pretty well for the Rattlers. Back in the pocket, tosses a nice one in the middle. Is that another one of those sneak passes you were talking about, Byron, a little while ago?
That's what you have right there is an outlet pass. He was looking downfield, actually, and when he didn't see his guys that he really wanted to get the ball to downfield open, your tight end is really what you call a little slip right with your back. He just fakes the dive right there, and then he turns around right onto the line of scrimmage and turns around, and he's an outlet. When your quarterback can't go downfield, he's an outlet.
We used to call it safety valve.
Safety valve. That was back there, way back there, yeah.
Got another first down. It's up.
Pitch and catch.
And it's good. Complete pass to Cedric Mitchell.
Ron, he found that open area. South Carolina tightened up just a little bit, and I don't know what kind of coverage they were in then. I don't know whether they were in zone or man, but it was a total mix-up. There's no way a receiver is supposed to be that wide open in a football game that players have been coached to stop.
Well, Walt, what you saw was the result of no huddle. They don't have a chance to talk to each other. They don't have a chance to decide who's going to cover who. They don't have a chance to decide what coverage you're in. So what you have is just pandemonium in the secondary.
So with the extra point good, FAMU leads this ball game 20-9. This is the Ramsey Game Day Experience. We're 11 minutes and 12 seconds left in this first half. Florida A&M University Rattlers leading the ball game 20-9 against South Carolina.
We're going to go downstairs.
Well, here we go, everybody. The United States Marine Corps, the few, the proud, bring you the student athlete of the game. Let's look at Florida A&M University. Number 1, defensive end, Jerron Daly. His major is in elementary education with a 3.3 GPA from Miami, Florida. Brought to you by the United States Marine Corps. And on the other side, from South Carolina State, you're looking at number 82, Arthur Love. Mr. Love in mechanical engineering with a 3.1 GPA from Sopperton, Georgia. Where is Sopperton, Walt? You're going to have to tell me where that is, man. This is...
And you're looking at him right there, number 82, Arthur Love.
Ron, it's always great to be selected as your student athletic representative. That means that you are doing well on the football field and you're also doing well in the classroom. It's an honor for these two kids to be picked from all the number of football players that we see here today.
That's great. Here's picked by Jeremy Edwards. Okay, I'm going to take a look at this last scoring drive, and Florida A&M Tigers had 6 plays for a long 73 yards. Time expired 2 minutes and 31 seconds, making the score 20-9.
I tell you, and that's another thing too. You know, Florida A&M, not only are they doing a good job of moving the ball, but they're keeping the ball. You know, usually Florida A&M is known for those big scores, just the long plays, the long bombs. But today they've done a good job of balancing run and pass, and they're keeping the ball. And South Carolina needs to do a good job of holding on to the ball right here, because if they don't, they're going to put their defense right back out on the field. And I tell you, they're in no condition right now to go back out and play in the defense. They need a break.
You're right, Byron. First down. Ball on the 35-yard line. Craig James. Handoff to his favorite, Derek O'Neal. O'Neal is not going to make a gain.
Ron, to show you how much the Florida A&M respect the passing game of South Carolina State, if you take a look at the ball was on the 35-yard line, all 11 of FAMU's defensive football players on the field was within 5 yards of the ball. That means they have no respect whatsoever for this pass. I got to know that Coach Jefferson got a kid on the sideline that can run a 4-3 or 4-4 or 4-5. I'd split him out wide, and I'd stretch that deep. Somebody would loosen up.
Got to loosen it up. You got to do that because if you don't, they'll just continue to creep up all day long and stop your number one weapon. That just lets you know you have to have balance.
Craig James dropping in the pocket, tosses one out, and it's complete down to the 39-yard line to Chad Edey from Florence, South Carolina.
And you can tell, even in that pass right there, you can tell they're not comfortable throwing the ball. They don't feel relaxed. The quarterback was looking to get rid of the ball as soon as he got back in his drop zone. And what you got to do is you got to go down the field. You're not putting any threats at all on the defense that way.
And you got to give your defense some time to rest.
That's exactly right.
Because the defense has been on the field, and while we're sitting up here and it's cool and comfortable, it's not that cool and comfortable on the football field.
3rd and 7.
Man-to-man coverage across the board.
Seems like a long, slow snap. Being chased out of the pocket is Craig James. James lets it go.
And that's a good play.
And it's complete.
Now, Ron, what happened then, Florida A&M just walked about 7 guys down on the line of scrimmage, and they came at it full speed. With the good speed that he possesses, he was able to get to the outside, and the receiver had the good sense to come back to him. And that's why we got a 1st and 10 for South Carolina State, and now defense gets a chance to rest another 3 or 4 down.
As a wide receiver, we always took it personal if we were covered by just one guy. You take it personal when it's a one-on-one situation and you got one guy on you all day long and you don't get the ball.
This time it's the handoff to O'Neal. Swapped out. A&M's got it.
That's going to hurt him.
Coming up with the football is number 11 for the Florida A&M Rattlers, Wendell Ashley.
That was Derek O'Neal with the carry. He just didn't protect the ball, didn't put it away. Of course, he's trying to run and get as much as he can, but the cardinal sin of carrying the football is letting it fly around loose because the defense are taught now to strip the ball. A lot of times that one guy hits you and the other 3 will try to strip the ball out.
First down for the Rattlers with the ball on their own 46. Handoff this time. Going over to the left side is going to be Kenneth Williams from Baltimore, Maryland.
Williams, the ball carrier.
Williams brought down by Justin Danner. The linebacker coming out of Orangeburg, South Carolina.
You see the Rattlers are doing just enough with Kenneth Williams with the ball just to keep them honest about running the ball. And while they lock in on him, then they go right back to doing what they do so well.
Gain of 8. And we'll get a penalty flag.
Now, Ron, normally when you see a flag come from the umpire, that's illegal procedure. The umpire not supposed to be calling violating the neutral zone. If he did call violating the neutral zone, he's clearly out of his scope of responsibilities. So that's what you got.
On the
illegal
offense,
procedure.
5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
So the false start being called against the Florida A&M Rattlers, going to put it back down to close to the 50-yard line. The 2nd down and 7. 8:22 clicking up in this first half. A&M leads 20-9. Sider makes a connection to Cedric Mitchell down at the 36-yard line.
He's wide open every time.
See, Ron, even though there were 4 blue jerseys around the ball, they had to converge on him. It wasn't that he was covered because when the ball is snapped, they're dropping back, and the receiver just running what we call curve pattern.
Got another first at the 36 of South Carolina State. Another complete pass. This time, Canaan Lamb. Lamb down to the 26.
This kid Sider is a pretty good quarterback. He's taking what they're giving him. And I don't know whether the plays are coming in from upstairs, but he's taking what they're giving him. And South Carolina State is giving them the 8 to 10 yard passes. And as long as you're moving the ball down the field, that's what it takes.
Well, I'm going to tell you like you told me now. I could complete passes. I'm standing back there by myself all day long. Sooner or later, anybody going to get open.
Agreed.
But, there comes a time when you got to say, let's play some real football with this defense. I'm going to go in here and hit this quarterback. I don't care what he does. Then that's going to put a little bit more pressure on him to make some decisions. Right now, he's got all day to make any kind of decision he wants to make, and that's not going to help them at all.
They're kind of slow in putting those markers down. I was going to say it was fourth down in inches. First down in inches, but they got it. They had a first down, taking it up the middle right there is Williams. Williams bringing it up to about the 23-yard line. I guess Williams is playing a good part in his game. When you need short yardage, he can do it.
Ron, we got a personal foul against the offense. I think it was a late block or a late hit, because that's the only thing I could see, because FAMU's done a good job of running the ball off the tackle.
10-yard penalty, first down.
That's going to hurt a little bit.
Florida A&M University and South Carolina State University would like to thank the Jacksonville Sports and Entertainment Board for their sponsorship of the 1999 Orange Blossom Palmetto Classic.
First down and a long 18. Sider connects at the 30 to Canaan Lamb.
The completion to Lamb.
They're just running a combination pattern where they're sending one guy through to clear it out, and then they're hooking the other guy down. And it's just a difficult thing to do, like I said, when the quarterback has got all the time that the quarterback has for FAMU right now. It's tough for a defense to cover that. The worst thing that you can do is give a quarterback time. That's the worst thing in the world you can do.
Joe Darden making the stop in that one. Across the middle to Nunley. Nunley picks up a first down, still on his feet, brings it around the corner. Oh, boy. Brings it down to the 8, and I would say that's pretty close to a face mask there. Stephon Kelly there to make the stop. He's from Dorchester, South Carolina.
This game is turned into a track meet, see. You got to turn this thing back into what Chuck Knox up at Buffalo used to call ground chuck. You got to put this thing back on the ground, man.
7. First and goal to go.
Ball on the 7.
Wide open.
There goes Williams down to the 2.
Williams, the ball carrier.
Brought down by Joe Darden. The no huddle has just got South Carolina's defense on their heels. I mean, they can't they can't sub people in and out. They really can't find anything that they can do to stop the offense right now. Now there's a new formation and they don't know what to do.
There he is up the middle, Kenneth Williams. He's in for the touchdown. Straight up the middle. 1-yard run by Kenneth Williams. 26-9, FAMU.
The defense is just really out of gas right now. They're out of gas. You can see all the guys, they got their hands on their hips. They just don't know what to do.
Florida A&M is showing its dominance as it relates to being able to move the ball up and down the field with a good mixture of run and pass. And Ron, if there's still some carryover, because I can imagine that they've been warned about blocking this team out, and they did a good job there, and we got an extra points good. Now the scores is 27-9, and I don't know, Ron, if they don't do something here soon to indicate that they're going to slow this potent attack that Florida A&M got down, or either give some of the defensive kids an opportunity to catch their breath, that we may be in for a big scoring football game on the Florida A&M side.
Mm-hmm. Well, Walt, what you have is you have a situation where you really need to play keep away. You need to get the ball and keep the ball for long periods of time.
Hey, let's go down to the sideline with Chuck Fosh and see what's going on. Take it away, Chuck.
Hey guys, we talked about the history of the Orange Blossom Palmetto Classic. Well, of course, this is the merger of two classics now, from Tallahassee's end and then from Orangeburg's end. It's only right that we find an official, and we have dubbed you an official historian. Mr. Frank Staley joins us on the sideline. Now let's talk about this Palmetto Classic and where it comes from.
The Palmetto Classic comes from a derivation of Well, under President Smith, who's now down in Florida, who wanted to expand and try to get better attendance in South Carolina. Our first game was against Florida A&M up there, and they whooped us.
I'm sorry, they did what?
Now, there you go. They whooped us.
The question.
There you go.
We're going to have fun. We're going to have fun this afternoon.
You're being bad to me. They're whooping us now, and you ask me what they're doing. You can rub this salt in my wound.
You can tell this is kind of some passion talking here as Florida A&M gets ready to kick off. What do you expect out of this game? You got a little bit of work to do, right?
Right now, they're cutting our backside. We aren't doing a damn thing.
Well, Frank, thank you, buddy. We appreciate it. Good luck to South Carolina State in this Orange Blossom Palmetto Classic. Let's take it back up because I hear in the background.
Johnny Loper finally coming down at the 45-yard line, and we got 1, 2, 3 yellow flags down on the field. Whole lot of action on this run back.
A push in the back, Ron. That's what we had on that penalty. The one good part about that, the flags came out early. So,
attention,
and you notice the South Carolina State kids are going on back to the end zone because they were aware of what went on.
In Florida, on the Sunshine Network, Wednesday night, 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, and in Columbia, South Carolina.
5 minutes and 52 seconds left in the ball game's first half. Florida A&M definitely in control of the ball game. 27, South Carolina State Bulldogs 9.
Doing the return.
Ron, this put South Carolina State just deeper in the hole. See, right now they got to dig themselves out of this hole to try to get some decent field position, even if they have to kick. What they need is about 3 first downs to try to go in at halftime at least 27-9, no worse than 27-9. Because if they let Florida A&M get this ball back and punch a touchdown in before halftime, or even a field goal, Brown, I got to believe this game may be out of hand.
I think it may be. And you know what? It's not even really important for South Carolina to score right here. It's just important for them to keep the ball.
On the run is Craig James. James, quarterback option, brings it down to about the 17, maybe about the 17-yard line.
And that's what I was saying before. I mean, you know, right now they just got to play keep away. The only way to stop Florida from scoring right now is to keep the ball.
Don't let them have the ball.
Don't let them have the ball back. So they want the first downs and all, and hold on to that time of possession and grow that, so that they won't give that ball back, because the defense is in no condition right now to get back up out and go out on that field.
We see Anthony Love coming out of the ball game, and it's one of the wide receivers, but we do have Chris Rutz in there at the bottom of your screen, and up at the top end we got Johnny Allen. First down. This is Chad Edey, swinging out to the left. Edey brings it across the 20, down to about the 22.
Ron, you know, coaches, that tackle, that was a very high tackle. That's what I'm trying to say, I guess. And that if you take a look at it, coaches teach the kids to drive their shoulder. The first mistake, 11 crashed in. But coming down here, this is a tackle. Could have been a face mask. Should have been a face mask call. But you teach your kids to stop a kid in his track and not grab him around the neck, because the average back can get you off his shoulders and keep on down the field, which could have occurred if he hadn't had some assistance on that tackle.
4:44, 27-9. FAMU in control. South Carolina State, Craig James, and a nice pass across the 30 to Johnny Loper.
That's what you need. That's what Byron was talking about a moment ago. That's what you need, this keep away. And that's the best term to use it, is just keep it out of Florida A&M's hand and give yourself time to go in at halftime and recoup and get yourself back together as to how you figure that you're going to stop this. Because right now, Florida A&M is dominating the ball game from an offensive point of view. But right now, South Carolina State is moving the ball down the field. That's 2 first and 10s in a row.
That's right.
And they're moving the ball very, very well. They have a 1st and 10 with the ball in the 33. Here's Derek O'Neal. O'Neal brings across the 35 down to about the 37.
Yeah, they need to come up with some variations on what they're trying to do. But again, I say that the best thing to soften that secondary up is to throw one straight down to the end zone and let your receiver go down and make a play. And that's going to put a little fear in that secondary. It's hard. They're not going to be eager to go in and make the tackles on O'Neal, because they're going to be concerned about making sure nobody's getting behind them. But they don't have that threat right now, and so all they're doing is just teeing off on the running game, and they're daring them to throw the ball.
Coming into the ball game in the backfield, along with Derek O'Neill, is Stanley Stevens.
Timeout blue. Second timeout.
South Carolina State will go for a timeout.
United States Postal Service is proud to sponsor the Orange Blossom Palmetto Classic, celebrating history and heritage.
Coming up at halftime, we'll be having a nice halftime show. Chuck Fosh will do the honors. He'll be talking with presidents of the various universities, and we'll get a little battle of the bands during this halftime that a lot of folks will be looking forward to seeing. It is all coming up at halftime here in the big Orange Blossom Palmetto Classic.
Ron, we'll get a chance to see the Marching 100 versus the Marching 101. Boy, that is something else. It's something that if you have never seen it, you need to come out and watch these two bands. And there's a connection. The band director at South Carolina State University is the brother to the arranger. The arranger for the Marching 100.
Hours either.
Ashley.
3:24 left in the ball game's first half. FAMU 27, South Carolina 9. Third down and 3 yards to go. Ball is on the 40-yard line.
Well, for a second there, I thought you was going to try to find a connection for Mississippi in there. I was going to say, now that's going a long way to make a Mississippi connection now.
Boy, you guys.
He's looking long and way overthrown, intended for Chris Ross out of Orlando, Florida.
But you got to do it. You got to throw that pass to make that defensive secondary honor you and respect you as being able to have the possibility of doing that or going deep on them. If you don't throw some shots like that every now and then, that the defense just creeps up closer and closer, and it just shuts a running game completely out.
If he'd have a little more patience, just a little more patience, the kid was breaking open. And we might would have got a chance to see a long pass from South Carolina State.
Back to do the punting for South Carolina. Frank Ziegler. And it's going to be down at about the 30-yard line.
Ron, it's 2 minutes and 42 seconds left in the first half. Plenty of time for this potent offense that Billy Joe is bringing to us today to get it down. And look at the beauties here. They're enjoying themselves. That's the South Carolina State cheerleaders. I don't know whether they're happy or not, because right now they are behind in this football game, and they need to be cheering South Carolina on.
27-9. Ball on the 32. Complete. Kanan Lamb still on his feet. Lamb's bring it pretty close to the 50, down to the 48.
Well, we're going back to business as usual over there on that side of the ball, guys. It's going to be extremely tough for them to stop this offense without putting any pressure on the quarterback.
We had Dario Grimmage on that tackle, along with Stephon Kelly. You see it on the screen. You can see Lamb switching, breaking a tackle there. Here back to pass again, and it's complete to Nunley, down to about the 38-yard line. And it stops the clock at 2 minutes and 24 seconds. What?
Byron, is that a soft zone? What? Explain what the defensive secondary is doing.
Really, what they're doing is they're playing zone, and they're actually covering that area, but the quarterback has so much time that they drift out of the covered area, and the receiver just finds an open zone. I mean, it's sort of like this. And here you go again. You see the quarterback, all he'll do is he'll drop back, and he's got so much time that he can decide whether he wants to run the ball or whether he wants to throw the ball. And I mean, he doesn't have to, there's no pressure on him. He doesn't have to rush about it. He can stand back there and literally take all day.
Justin Daner on the tackle, along with Damon Johnson and a host of others. We got a first down with the ball in the 20-yard line of South Carolina.
And Walt, I promise you, you can suit up right now and play wide receiver and come away with at least 8 catches a day.
Kenneth Williams keeping it on the ground, brings it down to the 15.
You might even score.
Brought down by Justin Danner.
I probably would.
It's not that bad, fellas. Come on.
Well, I'm telling you. But they do. They're going to have to put some pressure on that quarterback, or it's going to be a long day and a lot of numbers on the board. And you got 6 right there.
Going high. Oh, not going to happen. Intended for Robert Walton.
That was just a late throw. If that throw had been timed just right, that was 6 points.
Ron, I want to say this. I've been knowing Coach Willie Jeffers a long time. And I know Coach Jeffers is a coach with a lot of pride. And to see his team play like this today is just killing him inside. And I know right now, because he prides himself on defense. And here right now, his defense is not playing that well.
3rd and 6. Complete pass to Nunley at the 5. Stopped by Dario Grimmage.
Ron, they have brought this ball almost 50 yards in about 50 seconds. And so, well, let's say 70 seconds, because they're moving the ball right on down the field, and they're taking advantage of going out of bounds. And I think that Florida A&M probably is going to try to run it in from here.
Ball on the 5. There you have it, Walt. Kenneth Williams. Williams with a gain of 3.
Timeout White. First charge timeout.
94 on the tackle, Adrian McLeod.
Actually, that timeout, it works in South Carolina's favor.
Okay, so with the score of FAMU 27, South Carolina 9, let's take a pause. This is the Ramsey Game Day Experience.
800-334-4700. That's 800-334-4700 for the Wall Street Journal.
There you're looking at the Florida A&M Rattlers. As you can see, they're in the lead of this ball game, 27-9 here at Alltel Stadium in Jacksonville, Florida. So 2nd down and 3 with the ball on the 3. The Rattlers to score again. It's the score, and is by Kenneth Williams, taking it in with a 3-yard run. It'll put 6 more points on the board to make it 33-9.
Just a straight draw play, you know, to your fullback. It's just not a whole lot that South Carolina can do right now. They're playing on their heels. They're expecting pass every time. They've been getting beat everywhere you can be beat out in the secondary. So they just don't really know what they're doing.
Jeremy Edwards, who's been pretty busy on this afternoon, will try for the extra point again and pick this up. It's good.
You know, that communication, you just don't know what to do. I mean, you're not talking to each other. You don't know whether the ball is going to be inside, outside. They spread it around. They've thrown deep balls. They've thrown across the middle. They've thrown to the flat. They've thrown to the guy that's coming out of the backfield. I mean, you know, until you put some pressure on the quarterback, you really just don't know what to do.
Well, if you take a look at it, another thing, too, when coming into this ball game, Billy Joe was 1-2, and South Carolina State was 2-0. But if you take a look at South Carolina State's 2-0, and they beat Benedict, and they beat, they were supposed to play Morgan State, but they didn't play Morgan State. But if you take a look at their 2 victories would be suspect. But if you take a look at who Florida A&M has played and who they've lost to the University of Miami, in Miami, in Joe Robbins Stadium. Well, it's not Joe Robbins Stadium anymore. And then they lost to Tennessee State, who's undefeated, who's beaten 3 of the top schools in the country this year. So if you compare schedules, there's no comparison as to come to schedule, and the record may be suspect with the 2-0 compared to 1-2.
34-9. Jeremy Stevens, you're looking at him. Boy, he puts his foot into this one. And that's Roper. Loper is going to have him come on out to the 20-yard line. Looks as though we have an injury. He's going to get up. It looks as though we had a little injury out on the field, but everything is looking fine. Florida A&M Rattlers 34, South Carolina 9.
Yeah, that was Derek Dingle. I imagine, Ron, with him getting up slow was more because he missed the block. See, if he had made the block, he'd have jumped up, with a little spring in his kick. But when you miss a block, you always find the little nicks and bruises that you think you got.
They come out of nowhere.
Yeah, they come out of nowhere.
That's like that drop pass. You out there by yourself, you drop a pass, and all of a sudden your hand hurts. You're shaking your hand a little bit.
A minute 11 left in the first half. The Bulldogs will go shotgun. Craig James with a little time will come out of the backfield and get nowhere as big number 75 is not to be fooled. Terrence Woodard out of Orlando, Florida.
Ron, if you look at how he was carrying the ball on that, that was a dangerous way to be carrying the ball, like a loaf of bread. Watch it, one hand when he's running up through, and you running up through the crowd with something like that. Look how he got the ball up there like that. If someone had just hit the ball, we'd have had a fumble. FAMU would have had 50 seconds to get in the end zone, and that's something I know they couldn't stand for FAMU to be up by 40 to 9 at halftime.
I tell you, if they're not careful, they're going to give that ball back to FAMU. They really need to try to get that ball away from the end zone down there and get it on over and get this half over with.
Well, I think what FAMU is trying to do right now, they're trying to get it back because they feel if they can hold them down here and force them to punt, they got enough time to get in at least field goal range because the kicker seemed to be pretty accurate from 40 yards on in. So therefore, that's what they're trying to do. But South Carolina State, to me, right now, should be more concerned with going in at halftime 30-49 than they should be by trying to put a score up on the board via a long pace.
Yeah.
Well, Walt, you know Florida A&M and you know the coach. When it comes down for opportunity.
Oh, man. He's going to put it in there every time he can. If the scores get to be 100-0, he won 107.
Okay, Byron, do we look long?
Second and 11.
Well, right now, you just want to do whatever you can do to keep this ball.
Okay. All right, here we go. Second down and a long 11. Complete.
Great job.
And coming out of the backfield is Loper. Johnny Loper out of Waynesboro, Mississippi.
Right. But, Ron, that was a big play then. If there's a big play for South Carolina State, that was it. That play assured them of being able to run the half out with the ball in their possession because Florida A&M only got one timeout.
I guess we'll see what kind of arm Craig James really has as he drops back again. Finds a little space. Completes it to Monte Stokes. Stokes picks up a first down at the 50.
Tough lick. That was a strong hit across the middle then.
Wendell Ashley making that tough lick from out of Miami.
That young man is hurt.
Monte Stokes from Atlanta, Georgia. He's going to come out of the ball game.
That's what you call a stinger, isn't it?
Yes, sir, buddy.
85 is in. That's Patrick Sharperson.
Ball's at midfield. First and 10 for the Bulldogs.
A little screen pass, not going to happen, intended for Derek O'Neal.
Now, what you saw then is what South Carolina needs to do to Florida A&M. They bring in people, and they're really trying to put pressure on that quarterback, not giving him a chance to look down the field, to think a lot about what he needs to do. He's just trying to get rid of that ball.
If you've been resting over there like that, defense been resting, you probably could break a smoke too, because that offense, FAMU's offense has been on the field most of the first half, and the defense has been really resting, so they can bring smoke.
You're right.
Second
fresh
down.
legs.
Second and 10 for the Bulldogs. Ball at the half-point line. James being chased. Lets it go. Incomplete, intended for Johnny Loper.
Johnny Loper.
That was to me, that was a throwaway, and that's what he needed to do, because he does not need to try to force something in there and let FAMU get their hands on the ball. Byron, I know Coach Jefferson probably want to score, but if it's me, I'd take a knee and run this clock out and go in at halftime.
It's time to regroup for
That's right,
There's no doubt.
19 seconds left. Third and 10. He's going to pitch it out. O'Neal will take it out of bounds at the 46.
O'Neal.
12 seconds left, and don't go anywhere. We got a big halftime show coming up. Once again, you see the pitch out on the replay. O'Neal, nice tackle there, and stop and finally bring him out of bounds.
Jefferson did not want him to go out of bounds. he wanted him to stay in bounds. With 12 seconds, we'd have been at halftime now.
So we didn't really need another play.
No, we didn't need another play.
Same play. And it goes out of bounds again after a gain of about 3.
You saw then that they brought their corner from the outside, and that was that play that I was telling you about from a defensive standpoint with South Carolina. They need to bring that secondary people out there.
You know, I don't believe South Carolina State really knew it was 4th down. See, now they're giving, you know, he went out of bounds twice to stop the clock.
That's right.
To give FAMU an opportunity to win at least one play.
That's exactly
And that's something that you do not want to do.
You're exactly
and if
right.
FAM can complete a long pass within this 8 seconds and get time out, we still may see a field goal opportunity.
You're right. Somebody goofed right there. You don't think it was the coach, right?
Oh, he got tripped right, too, Byron.
Yeah, he's going downfield with it.
Yep.
Hook and turn.
They complete the Nutley.
What they had on then was that receiver was supposed to catch that turn route, and the back was coming around, and he's going to pitch it to that back.
That play is old as I am, Ron. When I was playing in high school, we used to run that play where the end would slant out to the outside and the back trail him, and once you hit him, he just pitch it, especially if the guys get on him.
That's the end of the first half with the Florida A&M Rattlers 34 and South Carolina State 9. This is the Ramsey Game Day Experience.
It's time, classic time. Columbus, Georgia, get ready. The granddaddy from Atlanta, Georgia, Morehouse College, travels to Columbus to face SIAC champion Tuskegee University. The Ramsey Game Day Experience is on for the 64th annual Rivertown Classic. The best games, the best fans, and definitely the best bands. This is Black College football, and this is your Ramsey Game Day Experience.
About the sound.
Both of them represented here today. Thank you, President Davis. And now I'd like to introduce some very important people from Jacksonville.
We have Senator Betty Holzendorf, one of the outstanding state senators in this great state of Florida. We have Commissioner Dennis Lee, who is here.
Well, here we go, everybody. You're in the middle of the halftime show, brought to you by Collision. Tommy Hilfiger. Get a good look. Well, you're looking at Florida A&M University, the Marching 100, the legendary Marching 100, getting ready to take this field. Well, you see the score, the Rattlers on top right now in a very dominating way. 34-9 is your halftime score. Well, get ready, everybody. My name is Chuck Fosh, and we're going to bring you a very special halftime here. And we've got some stories to tell for you. Let's go to a graphic here, if we could. And let's talk about this Orange Blossom Classic, and we'll get to some Battle of the Bands very, very quickly. But we want to take you back and talk about Week 2 and the standings. Let's make it Week 3, guys. MEAC. Delaware State on top of Norfolk State last week, 26-6. Hampton taking down Arkansas Pine Bluff 26-13. Bethune-Cookman, we were there in Cincinnati on last week. What a wonderful game, at least for Howard University. And then last week in Atlanta, Georgia, in the Dome, FAMU lost to Tennessee State University, who is now on a roll. Well, that brings us to Week 4 standings in the Black College Football Poll. Number 5, well, it's going to like this one, Jackson State University. Number 4, Fort Valley State. Number 3, it's Southern, the Jags. Number 2, Tennessee State, who may soon take over number 1. And still in the number 1 spot in Week 4, it's Hampton University. Well, now in the middle of halftime, we promised to give you some Battle of the Bands. But before we do that, let's go back a little ways and let's talk about South Carolina State, and let's talk about Florida A&M University. We had a chance before the season started, and here we go. Usually homecoming is a very special time in a university's life, but Coach McNeil is a native of Orangeburg and has gotten an opportunity to come home every game.
Orangeburg is a town that I've been coming to actually since I was born. And Orangeburg has really grown since I left here in 1985, and it's great to be home.
Well, Coach's story brings to mind The Water Boy. You remember the movie?
Right now, one of my favorite movies. You know, it just kind of epitomizes, you know, things that we look for, you know, and being the last on the pole, but doing everything that you have to do for the program. And I think that's the attitude, and that's where I'm at in life right now.
With over 13 years and 5 teams of experience, Coach McNeil has played a major role in his players' lives.
My highlights are not, you know, on the field, wins and losses and things like that. My highlights are the friendships and the relationships that I've gathered with my players over the years. Being in 3 weddings, 2 as a best man, going to graduation, seeing people graduate, being named godfather to several of my players' children. You know, those are my highlights, just seeing, you know, them and knowing that I've been a part of their lives. And I really think that that's what coaching is all about.
His career was built on a foundation in coaching that began many, many years ago.
When we want to talk about high school, I could talk all day about my achievements there. I was actually a 5-sports letterman in all 3 of the major sports. I also played tennis and I ran track. But being the athletic director's son, you kind of had to fill in when needed. But it was a great feeling in high school, and I think a lot of athletes in today's world don't give their high schools or their high school players that they played with enough credit for making them who they really are. I've known Coach Jeffries practically all my life, and there are 2 words that brought me back. It is Willie Jeffries. Simply because, you know, you model yourself after people in this profession, and he's someone that I've respected and known and have actually gotten into, you know, his philosophies and his ways. So he's one of the reasons that I came back.
Well, the question is a championship in the cards for South Carolina State this year?
We want to win a national championship. We want to win the MEAC. And that's all I've been preaching since I've set foot on this campus, is winning a national championship. Because, you know, Joe Gibbs said in his book, winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. But if you're going to play, you play to win. And that's what we're going to do here. We're going to play to win every Saturday afternoon.
I feel very confident that we will have a winning season. As a matter of fact, I think we'll have a championship season this year. You know, championships come in cycles. I came back here in 1996, and we had a losing season. Then the next year we had a winning season. We went 9-2. And then the next year we had a losing season. So this is a year for, as Coach McNeil said, a 9-2, a 10-2 year for us.
1981 jars the memory, and this year seems to be an ever-present danger and an opportunity.
I can remember one of the greatest games in Miami at the Classic down in 1981. I also can remember missed field goal, so we know that it's going to be a great game. We're just glad to be, you know, in Jacksonville, and right now we feel like we've got a chance to beat them.
Respect, admiration, war. These are words that describe the Carolinas Classic.
Halftime performance is from the Wild Wild West.
Well, you're in the middle of this Parisian Tubby Hilfiger halftime show. Well, you hear in the background the sounds of the legend marching 100 of Florida A&M University. My name is Chuck Floss, and you're in the middle of Classic Times at the Orange Blossom Palmetto Classic. Hold on tight to what you got. You will need it. This is Florida A&M University. welcome back, everybody, to the Orange Blossom Palmetto Classic and this Ramsey Game Day Experience. Well, at the half, South Carolina State 9 and the Rattlers of Florida A&M University 34 and dominating this game. You're looking at the marching 100. This is Florida A&M University Marching Band. And you're in the middle of the Parisian Tommy Hilfiger halftime show, everybody. My name is Chuck Bosch, and welcome back to Jacksonville, Florida. Well, early on, we had a chance to talk to the very dynamic leadership president of Florida A&M University, Dr. Frederick S. Humphreys, who has got a mission for FAMU, and not just for today, but he's got a mission for tomorrow as well. We had a chance to talk to the president.
To the hills, from which cometh my help cometh from the Lord.
Well, Dr. Frederick S. Humphreys, of course, has been at Florida A&M for some time. He was president of Tennessee State University for a little while, and then came over to FAMU. Now, I think he will tell you, and make no mistake about it, this is a man who doesn't mince his words, and this is a man who will not bite his tongue. He will tell you, if you come to FAMU, he means business. Mr. President, Florida A&M University strives for excellence in all aspects of the institution. The hard work is not going unnoticed. Enrollment is increasing. Dr. Frederick Humphreys has a goal.
This year, we, for the third straight time, Florida A&M University is the top university in America for the production of African Americans with baccalaureate degrees. And Black Enterprise named us the coeducational school where African Americans most likely want to go. Someone in our student body has won a National Science Foundation fellowship every year. These kids have taken that NSF fellowship and they have gone to the very best schools. I mean, they've gone to MIT, Cal Berkeley, Johns Hopkins. We're enjoying a great development of an academic surge here at the university that I'm extremely proud of. And where we want to go, 20,000 students.
Well, even after 15 years of successful leadership as president of FAMU, Dr. Humphreys has yet to fulfill his total vision for the university.
I'm in my 15th year now, and I want to stay. What I like to do is to carry this university to 20,000 students. And in doing that, it will represent a high watermark for any historical black college or university in America, right? We want to go places that no one has ever been, right? And to blaze a trail that will set a high watermark for people to reach for. And I believe that if we are successful in doing this and other people see that this kind of these kinds of accomplishments can be made, then that means some wonderful things for the education of African Americans in this country. And so we always want to, we set these levels of performances and levels of standards to try to reach out and set them high enough so that if we miss, we still are way up there, right? And so in doing that, we hope to energize everybody else to want to go there with us, and in so doing, eradicate the deficiencies that we have in this society. Just in tremendous numbers in the right fields, produce African Americans, and then add to the quality of life for everybody in this country.
Well, some of the highlights of Dr. Humphreys on his long list of achievements.
One is to, during our centennial celebration, to be so honored by the committee to give me the centennial medallion. The second thing is that it's beyond my wildest dream to have been selected the Time Magazine Principal Review College of the Year. And the third thing is to have received the Thurgood Marshall Educational Award. Fourthly, being selected Floridian of the Year. And then fifthly is when I got I got from the University of Pittsburgh. There weren't but 5 of us on it. And on the 100th anniversary, they chose to bring back 5 people over those 100 years, right, that they felt were significant, had done significant things with their lives, and I happened to be one of those 5 people, and that was pretty good. So those are the kind of things that I'm extremely proud of.
Well, you better be careful when you mess with the Rattlers, just cause.
The Rattlers will strike and strike and strike again. Yeah, there you go.
Well, FAMU is certainly striking on this fine Saturday afternoon. Sort of an overcast sky in Jacksonville, Florida. It is definitely showtime. 34-9 is the score, and FAMU is out front. Well, here we go, everybody. Classic Times this week, like College Life, is brought to you by some very fine sponsors. We're proud to have them with us. As you listen to the sounds of FAMU and South Bank, the relationship people. Brian Foods, the flavor of the South. By Parisian and Tommy Hilfiger, get a good look. By the United States Marine Corps, the few, the proud, the Marines. By the United States Postal Service, exclusive delivery for the 1999 Ramsey Classic Tour. Well, take a look at this, guys. Florida A&M University doing their thing, and we got so much more of that coming. Again, you're in the middle of the Parisian Tommy Hilfiger halftime show. Oh, yeah, you ought to be feeling this right about now. Hold on tight, everybody.
Brian, that's what I like about the South.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Game Day Experience from Jacksonville, Florida. The Orange Blossom Palmetto Classic in the background, Florida A&M University. Well, let's talk about this first half. We had lots of football, sort of one-sided there, but we had lots of football. I want to toss it to the booth down with the czar, Dr. Walter Reed, the play-by-play Ron January, the man who will pick it apart, Byron Franklin. Guys, you got to do this thing, buddy.
Lopsided, you're right, Chuck. 34-9, Florida A&M University Rattlers in control of this ball game. Walt, you said it in the beginning, they had the chance to do it, and they will take the opportunity to score like strike, strike, strike. Look, we heard the president say, Florida A&M, are they doing what you expected?
Yeah, they're doing exactly what I expected them to do. I expected them to use the control passing attack that they have utilized the first half, also in mixing up runs with it to keep this South Carolina State defense off balance. The thing that I've been surprised about is the looseness that South Carolina State has indicated via the pass defense that they have played this potent passing attack. And if they don't tighten it up, this game may get out of hand early in the third quarter.
Speaking of getting out of hand, Byron, adjustments got to be made.
Well, you know that there's the score indicates that there got to be some adjustments made at halftime. Right now, what the secondary of Florida A&M is doing is they're really just kind of walking up, and they're stacking their defensive players on the line because Derek O'Neal is the only weapon that the South Carolina team has right now, and they're shutting him down. So what's going to have to happen now is they're going to have to get the wide receivers involved in the game. They got to get a couple of other people involved so that they can move the ball and keep the ball away from those Rattlers.
And let's take a look at We'll be back and take a look at the stats of the next half right after these words. This is the Ramsey Game Day Experience.
It's not sold in any store, so call and order right now.
Welcome back to the Orange Blossom Palmetto Classic, where Florida A&M University is on top of South Carolina State. You're looking at them in the background, the sights and the sounds of the marching band from South Carolina State. We had a little taste of the Marching 100 a little bit earlier. Well, I've got the honor and the very pleasure of seeing again Dr. Frederick Humphreys, the president of Florida A&M University, who has joined us now on the sideline. Now, I'm not sure whether you stayed down here for the band or you had to stay down here to do some other business, but Florida A&M University certainly, and I want to talk about off the field just for a second. Because the last time I talked to you, you inspired me, and you had a chance to tell me a little bit about what FAMU is doing. This Orange Blossom Classic means what to FAMU?
This is a great coupling. South Carolina State's a great school, and so are we. and we're about equidistant from Jacksonville. And so the coming together of these two schools to play this classic in Jacksonville will give us a presence in this community of over 1.5 million people. And it will allow us to have a larger crowd than either one of us could have at home. So this is the beginning of a very strong classic. It allows us to preserve our Orange Blossom Classic, which goes way back, and it will allow them to preserve the Palmetto Classic, which goes way back. So this is a wonderful thing for both schools to be involved in. We both appreciate good athletics, and we're going to have some good time down here in Jacksonville, continuing a tradition that's very important to both schools. So this means for us that we can continue the legacy of both schools in terms of a classic that was very important to us.
All right, let's go back just a little ways, just to last night. On last night, I watched you in front of some high school students here in Jacksonville, supposedly the best of the best that Jacksonville had to offer. And I must admit, I was a little bit surprised. You talked to them in a way that I've never heard anybody else talk to I guess, people that they don't know, and you sort of spoke some plain truth to them and told them that Florida A&M is about business.
Yes, I mean, I always try, when I talk to the young people, whether they are excellent students, average students, or students that need work, I want to impress upon them that nothing is given to them. They have to earn what they want out of life, and that you should not come to college expecting that you're not going to work and that you don't have to be disciplined, that you don't have to be committed, and that you don't have to put in long hours, and that you got to have a vision for yourself and work hard to make that vision come true so that you can achieve and have a quality life. Nothing in this world worthwhile having does not entail labor. And that's our starting point. And I don't want to think that we are a party school that come up to FAMU and think that all they got to do is party their way through college. We're not about that. We're about learning, the development of expertise, and making a record and a name for yourself.
I want to leave with some parting words, and there's some hand movement that goes with this parting words. And you're certainly not laboring on today. FAMU is doing what you do best. So leave us with those parting words and some good advice.
When the dark clouds gather on the horizon, when thunder and lightning pierce the sky, when fate is but a grin in the eye of a fallen rattler and hope a lost friend, when the sinew of the chest grows weary and the muscles in the legs grow tired from those hard-charging linebackers of the Rattlers, you must always remember the Rattlers will strike and strike and strike again.
This is Dr. Frederick Humphreys.
Bulldog.
All right, Dr. Humphreys of Florida A&M University. All right, guys, I know we got to wrap up, but you better not mess with a Rattler, man. This classic time has been brought to you by the following sponsors of Ramsey. South Bank, the relationship people. By Brian Foods, the flavor of the South. By Tommy Hilfiger and Parisian, get a good look. By the United States Marine Corps, if you are proud of the Marines. By the United States Postal Service, exclusive delivery of the 1999 Ramsey Classic Tour. Well, Jacksonville, Florida, the skies are overcast, but football is abound at the Orange Blossom Palmetto Classic in this Ramsey Game Day experience. All right, guys, back up to you. We got lots of football to play in this one, buddy.
All right, Chuck, here we are at Alltel Stadium. The score of Florida A&M Rattlers 34, South Carolina State 9. And I tell you, we've got ourselves a game going on here today. And we'd like to look at old Walt here. Walt, are you ready for the second half?
Yeah, I'm ready for the second half, man. You know, well, Ron, what a lot of people don't know, one reason I may show a little more enthusiasm as it relates to Florida A&M University, not that I'm partial. It doesn't bother me who wins the ball game, but I used to work at Florida A&M University, so I do kind of feel a little allegiance to that. And I was the athletic director at Florida A&M when we brought Coach Billy Joe on board with his staff. Billy Joe has done an excellent job for Florida A&M as it relates to winning and losing football games. He brought them back some of that classic winning tradition that they had been looking for. And I just expect Coach Billy Joe to continue to do that. But I think that Coach Jeffries, when he went in at halftime today, I would have hated to have been on his football team in the dressing room during halftime. Right. There's only one guy that I know that's accustomed to going in at halftime with the kind of situation we got, being on the low end of the scores, and that's the guy sitting to my right.
Byron Franklin. And Byron, your assessment of it, what do you think is going to happen in the second half?
Well, to try to ignore that statement that was just made and try to move on with professionalism, well, you can look at the stats. You see that the passing yards are overwhelmingly in the favor of FAMU. They had 238 yards passing versus 77 for South Carolina. Now that tells a story right there. They had 22 first downs to 10 first downs for South Carolina. And for rushing yards, amazingly, Ken Williams for Florida A&M had 59 rushing yards versus Derek O'Neal, who leads the conference in rushing, who only had 69 total yards rushing. So as you can see, Florida A&M is dominating this ball game, not only in the air, but they're also dominating the ball game on the ground. For them, that's a victory, because Florida A&M, they don't rush the ball, they don't run the ball. For them to have any rushing yards at all, that's a victory for them. So as you can see in the second half, South Carolina is going to have to make some adjustments defensively, put some pressure on that quarterback and get the ball and keep the ball so they won't get involved in the same track meet that they had in the first half.
Well, you just saw Roper make a run back and a return all the way up to the 33-yard line, and he was finally brought down by, that was Johnny Loper there. And Johnny Loper, nice run on the kickoff this third quarter here at Alltel Stadium. Making the tackle was Kendall Johnson. Kendall Johnson out of Tallahassee, Florida. So South Carolina State will have the first possession. They'll have the ball on their own 34-yard line.
Ron, we'll get a chance to see earlier what kind of adjustment Coach Jeffries made as it relates on offense and being able to control the ball somewhat.
And we got a fumble already. Bad snap or some bit of confusion there. Let's see who comes up with it. It looks as though South Carolina State is going to regain possession.
Yeah, that's really important for them to maintain possession of this football for this early part of this second half.
Steve Coleman was there.
2nd and 9.
A save for the Bulldogs. And they got a gain of 1 yard on that one. We'll get a flag on this one.
What you got there, Ron, that'll be an illegal procedure on the center. Anytime the umpire throws the flag, there's something happened on the offensive line, and that'll be if they were naming the cover, it would be the center.
5 yards.
Because he double snapped the ball.
They'll mark it all 5 yards against the Bulldogs.
This is a bad start for South Carolina State University at this stage of the ball game, don't you think, Byron?
I think
they
so,
needed to get something going positive to show that the adjustments that were made during the halftime will affect the outcome of this ball game, and now they're going backwards.
I agree with you, Walt. They don't need anything spectacular. They just need to walk the ball down the field, maintain possession, and show that they're able to move the football. And right now, they're going backwards, just like you said.
Backwards again, this time all the way down to the 12-yard line goes Craig James as he was sacked by Tyrone Johnson.
This kid, Tyrone Johnson, is 6'1", 280 senior from Miami Northwestern. He's doing real well.
13-18. The time clicking on its third quarter. 34-9 is the score.
And it's third and forever, Ron.
26 long,
that's a long ways,
yards.
But for South Carolina State is not a quick striking offense. They have to be kind of precaution going down the field. And you can see what we got right now.
James being chased again. Threw a little short one out there to Chad Edey coming out of the backfield, but goes nowhere.
They had to show something positive, Brian. I guess if you take a look at it right now, 3 in and out is not what Jeffries would have liked for his offense to have done. If you notice right now, the quarterback is running for his life, and here he goes. He just has to throw the ball away.
Not at all. What they needed to do then was to, again, just establish a run game, establish the offense, get a flow for the second half, move that football from this end of the football field to the other end, and keep Florida A&M's offense off the field.
Back at the 50.
Ball's out.
Ball carrier.
Looked like Bam, you covered the fumble, but that would have been a big play for South Carolina State if they had been able to cover that one, because that would have given them good field position, and also would have been enabled them, if they had to punt, to put Florida A&M deep in its own territory.
Well, again, you see that Florida A&M is coming out. They're using the note huddle. They have a 4 wide receiver set, and they're going right back to business as usual.
Yep, it's a pickup. Ball on the 45. Handoff. Kenneth Williams. Williams makes it to the 40, maybe a gain to 5.
But you notice right there, they open up the ball game by running the ball. The first thing that they're trying to do is make everybody play honest. Make the defensive line stay at home, respect the run, and then they're going to start slowly working back to what they were doing before.
Nice tackle by Damon Bell. 2nd and 4. Across the middle, complete. And knocks his helmet off, too. That was Robert Walton. And it's going to be ruled incomplete.
Like John Madden says, first thing you want to do when you have a helmet rolling around, you want to check, make sure it's not a head in it. Not a head in it, then everything go okay. You can put it back on, get the guy strapped back up.
Yeah, that was Grimmage from Georgetown, South Carolina. And another one of the things you want to do also, Byron, make sure it's not your helmet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You want to make sure your helmet is checked, make sure yours is on, because that was a vicious hit.
Yeah.
And if you're watching, that's a vicious hit. And when he hit the kid, and it looked like, he's standing up, but he goes down. It must have kind of shook him up a little bit. Now he's coming off the field. He's all right, though.
The middle of the field in the secondary is not for the faint of heart.
The receivers either.
Receivers or defensive backs.
That's right.
That's Dario Grimmage from out of Georgetown, South Carolina, the player that comes off the field there. We have a 3rd down and 4 coming up with the ball on the 40.
3rd and 4 from the 40.
Complete pass to Nunnally. Nunnally goes out of bounds at the 33-yard line.
Here they going again, throwing under. They're attacking them under, especially when they're going to drop back, and seem like, Byron, that's the kind of defense we're going to see for the rest of the night with them dropping back. And so just expect Steiner to throw under.
Unfortunately, it's going to be a long day for them.
Not only picking up a 1st down, back to pass again. This time over to the other side. And it's Nunnally. Nunnally finds room, picks up another 1st down. He's down at the 20.
Ron, what we got here, this flag is for holding. It got right back to what Byron was saying just a while ago. The kid came off the corner. He came off in good shape, and the only way that the tackle could keep him off his quarterback was the hold, and that's what this flag is all about. So it's going to bring him back, and it's going to be 1st and 20.
Making the tackle was Derek Harris from out of San Antonio, Texas. See it on the screen?
Now, holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty, replay 1st down.
Now, Ron, the difference in the rules this year and last year, they would have gone from the spot of the foul and stepped off to 10 yards, and it would have been 1st and about 27 or 28. But this year, when the penalty occurs like that, they go back to the line, the previous spot, which is the line of scrimmage.
So we have it 1st down and 20 to go. Ball on the 42. Sider in the shotgun. Throws long, complete, beautiful pass.
The completion
to Robert Walton out of St. Petersburg, Florida. We have an injured player on the field.
That's a real bad collision right there with the free safety and your wide receiver. That's his area. He has to cover that, and coming over like that, that's a collision point.
Looks like we got a number 42.
Number 42.
Heritage through the Black Heritage.
That'll be Damon Bell.
Available at your local post office.
That'll be Stephon Kelly. The injured player.
Yeah, what you got there, you figured one of the guys was going to stay in the pile. One of them was going to get up and come out. And you just figured which one, because that was a collision.
That was a big time collision.
You don't like to see because it was in the upper extremities of the part of the body, the kind that you can get the devastating injuries. But it seemed like he's doing okay. It might have been a wind penalty, too.
What you have is, if you take another look at it, you see the receiver going out in the void, and it's like he slides behind the cornerback, and their safety's got to come over and make a play on that ball. And what you had right there is what you call a train wreck. Taking another look at it from a different angle, the cornerback pushes him outside, and he's supposed to be picked up by the free safety. The free safety did his job and passed him on to the free safety, and there he is. He's got to come up and make that lick.
And Page Communication Services.
It was all legitimate. It was done textbook. You know, it's just one of those situations where it's a tough lick to make. And the free safety, that's his job. I mean, he's supposed to come over and knock that ball loose. But unfortunately, sometimes the defensive guy takes the real lick.
Mm-hmm. Well, I sometimes wonder when you look at a situation like this where a player is injured and he's injured out of bounds, do they still stop the clock and just let it wait until he gets to be all right, or do they continue with play?
Anytime he's close to the field of play, they're going to stop play because sometimes a guy can come over like that and run over there into where they're treating the injured play.
Okay, so with the score, FAMU 34 and South Carolina 9, let's take a break. This is the Ramsey Game Day Experience.
This is your Ramsey Game Day Experience.
You're back live at the Ramsey Game Day Experience with the score, Alabama A&M 34, South Carolina State 9. And that injured player, Stephon Kelly, came off the field in good condition. He ran off in his own power, and we are so happy to see that. Florida A&M is threatening. They're on the 18-yard line of South Carolina. They have a first down.
Crossing routes.
Incomplete pass.
Incomplete.
That was intended for Kenneth Williams coming out of the backfield. Couldn't quite hold on to it.
Well, Ron, for the first time tonight, we got a chance to see what Byron's been said that South Carolina State needed to do. They sent some people.
That's right.
Number 44 just came in,
that's right,
upset the whole apricot, and that's why he had to dump it off, and he was not able to have any accuracies on it. But that's what they got to do. They got to throw this kid off balance.
Second down. Sider breaks the tackle. Another. Brings it back to the 15-yard line, maybe a gain of 3.
Even though number 78, Lewis Kelly, made the tackle, I give number 44, Damian Johnson, credit for that. He made him come back inside, and when he went back inside, he went right into number 78, Lewis Kelly's arms. And that's what's got to happen. We're getting a rush on him.
That's right.
3rd and 7. And we'll get a flag.
And as you can tell, you see that the people are coming in and out for South Carolina with this false start by the offense.
Byron, it's always good to see the kid. Just a while ago, that got hurt, Stephon Kelly. He's back out on the field.
Yeah.
It was just a stinger. It's good to see that, which means that it was just a stinger, and he had to go off and kind of get himself back together. It's good to see him back out.
3rd and 12.
3rd and 12.
Sider back got plenty of time. Hits Nunley. Nunley's going to pick up a first down, and out of bounds he goes.
No excuse for that, guys. No excuse.
Poor tackling.
That's just exactly what that is. That's poor tackling, and that's just the confidence of the offense right now with FAMU. They got confidence in the receivers. The receivers feeling confident in themselves. They're dancing, they're turning, they're twisting, they're making all kinds of moves. That's just the fact that they hadn't been hit.
Rattlers have it.
First down on the 5.
To go from the 5.
He's looking being chased. And boy, he almost had an interception there by number 42. Stephon Kelly.
Yeah, he's back out on the field. He's a tough kid, and that's what it takes. You know, he's not that small now. He's 6'2", 205, and he's a sophomore. And you know, when you're a sophomore, you believe you can do anything.
Second and 5.
Second down.
I see the run right here.
He's really taking so much time to try to draw him offside. There's Williams, and he was hardly even touched.
That's right. That's his third touchdown run of the day.
Kenneth Williams, 5-yard run, brings the score 40-9.
Well, Walt, I tell you, it's just going to be a long day for him. They are letting the quarterback stand back there and throw as much as he wants to, and he can run whenever he wants to. He's not in any pressure to make any decisions, so it just makes it that much more difficult to stop the run game when you can't stop the pass. That's what a balanced attack will do to you. It will totally destroy your defense.
Okay, with the score, Florida A&M 41 and South Carolina State 9. Let's take a pause. This is the Ramsey Game Day Experience. Welcome back to the Ramsey Game Day Experience. Florida A&M University Rattlers leading its ball game against the South Carolina Wildcats 62-17. Did we say Wildcats? We meant Bulldogs.
Well, I tell you right now, it's training session is open. And you want to make sure you don't get anybody hurt right now, but you want to try to come away from this game doing something good. Of South Carolina, they're trying to do something to feel good about before they leave the stadium.
Greg James give it to Stevens. Stevens across the left guard, going to bring it up to about the 15-yard line. It looks as though we got a late flag there.
Well, you got unsportsmanlike conduct down there. You got your wide receiver and your cornerback fighting against each other. And it's just unnecessary at this time, at this stage of a game. You know, you want to go up, get done with the game. And obviously there are a lot of people out there that feelings are being hurt right now with the score lopsided like it is. You just don't need any unnecessary penalties and unsportsmanlike conduct.
But one thing I picked up, and I have to give Coach Jeffries credit for that. If you notice, this South Carolina State team, even though they've been outmanned and outscored at this junction of the football game, they are still running hard.
Yeah.
The backs have not let up, and I think that's a positiveness that he can carry into his football game next week.
Bulldogs, first and 10.
First down and 10, ball on the 30-yard line. Stanley Stevens being caught in the backfield and gang tackle down at the 25-yard line. Big 93 down there to help bring him down for Florida A&M Rattlers. That's got to be Ernest Certain.
Yeah, Ernest Certain is a defensive end from Gainesville, Florida, and he's a senior. So right now he's playing kind of what I call semi before his home folks, and I know there's a big crowd from Gainesville up to watch him play, and he's trying to entertain them, and that's what it's all about. But give South Carolina State credit, the back did the best that he could, and he never stopped trying to go forward.
Lost 2 yards on the play to bring it down to a second down and 12.
Second and 12.
James back, rolling out. Kicks one out. It looks as though we got ourselves an interception, but he's out of bounds. No, it is an interception.
It's an interception.
It'll be Florida A&M's ball.
By number 21.
What you have right there is a play where your receiver, you have a short receiver and a deep receiver, and one was supposed to draw the cornerback, but the cornerback never drew up first to the front receiver. He just kept drifting back, and he drifted right into the pass route of the deeper receiver.
The punt returner, Travion Turner, is the one who made the reception on that play. We got a first down and 10 for the Rattlers. Going up the middle.
Like we got a new quarterback in that run. Is that number 26? They got him listed as a wide receiver in the book, but he's playing quarterback now.
Franklin Williams.
See number 26 playing quarterback?
Pick up a close to 7.
Sure Frankie Williams, running back, sophomore, 5'10", 200 from West Palm Beach, Florida. Oh, God.
Getting loose. It's Kendall Johnson.
And we got a face mask.
Johnson gets it down to the 20.
And Ron, what we got going on now is a lot of what we used to call when I was coaching rooster fights. You know, they're not doing anything to really hurt each other. They just out bumping and just rooster fighting. But that flag was on a face mask. But we got to determine was it intentionally or was it accidental, whether it's 5 or 15. But we know it's going to be 1.
Well, another thing you have, too,
is... the foul, so it's 15.
Another thing you have, too, is you got a lot of fresh legs out there on offense.
Right.
And you got some young guys that are trying to get their name in the paper, and they're not letting up one bit. They're trying to get on that end zone so they can get their name in the paper, and they can say, I scored a touchdown, call home and tell their mama, hey, mama, I scored a touchdown tonight.
First down.
So if you're looking for mercy, out there on those stripes is not where you're going to find it tonight.
Well, he'll walk in the office Monday and say, Coach Joe, did you see how I was running the ball?
That's right.
I ought to start.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Start.
You got some guys that's trying to create some highlight film here.
Right.
All right, we got a first down and 10. It's Chris Russ. Chris Russ makes it around the right side, and Russ is going to go down about the 8-yard line.
Sharon Millhouse made that tackle. He's a freshman. So what Coach Jeffrey's going now, he's going into his step to try to make sure none of his players get hurt because he's looking for the rest of the season at this junction as well.
That's right.
That's a smart move, too.
Yeah, it's still a long season. A lot of football left to be played for both of these teams.
Here's Williams, the quarterback, gives it off to Johnson. Johnson brings across the left guard, inside the 5, drawn down at about the 4.
Well, I know you've probably been involved in some games that's been lopsided like this before, and probably been on both ends of it. So how do you come back next week after a game like this?
Look at the Jumbotron and enjoy this little young lady that's enjoying herself. But what you do, you try to bring the kids in and pick out the positiveness that was involved in this football game and build on that. Don't worry about the scores. Just build on what they did good.
Williams, the quarterback, gives it off to Chris Russ. Russ,
touchdown.
Across the line, it's a touchdown. Chris Russ out of Orlando, Florida. 6 minutes, 39 seconds left in the ball game. 68-17.
Ron, I guess if we take a look at the history of Coach Jeffries coaching at South Carolina State, I bet you no one has ever scored these many points on a Willie Jeffries defensive ball club. And I know it's got to be gut-wrenching to him. And I know that Monday when he get out on the practice field, it's going to be kind of tough out there. I'd probably be sick Monday. If it was me, I'd be in the health center. I think they have health centers on campus anymore. I'd be in the hospital Monday. I wouldn't be at practice Monday because it may be a little tough.
Extra point by Jeremy Smith, and it's time now to take a break. Florida A&M University 69, South Carolina 17. This is the
16:55.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Ramsey Game Day Experience. The score, Florida A&M 69, South Carolina State 17. You're looking at Jeremy Edwards been busy all afternoon long. I mean, he's really been putting a foot into it.
Got to put an ice pack on his name tonight.
Back deep, Stevens and Loper. Steven take it at the 10. Steven to the 20. Oh! Whoa! Line.
Wow. Get the name of that truck.
Boy. What a nice tackle there by Nakia Bynum. He's out of Charleston, Mississippi, is that?
We hit him like that.
I knew it was coming, man. I knew it was coming.
Don't come our way, man. He was raised hitting folks. And he's from the hometown of one of the greatest coaches ever coached at Jackson State University. Big Bob Hill is from Charleston, and Bob did a good job until Coach Gordon came along. Bob hit the all-time winningest record for Jackson State University.
Looks like we got a new quarterback, number 4 there for South Carolina. That's going to be Dominique Shaw.
And bottom, you see how the backs from South Carolina State is continuing to run hard, right, even though they're not getting the blocking that they'd like to get, but they are steady pumping it up in there, and that's all you can ask. You can't ask for anything more, and that's a positiveness that Coach Jeffries can come out of this ball game with.
A gain of 4 yards on the last play. We've got a 2nd down and 6. Up the middle, Stanley.
Oh, no!
Here's A&M. That's swoop. No,
that's a terrible block right there.
No, that's not swoop. That's
There's absolutely no reason for him to block
Colsey.
that quarterback in the back like that. They got away with one man there.
Nell Colsey.
That's a gift. That's one that you can sit down and take a look at. That they hit the runner and the ball popped up in the air. And
if you could see the replay on this, watch the quarterback right there. He's running. He's chasing after the guy right there, and can't see it by that angle. But the guy gets pushed right in the back.
Let's call him Dizzyfoot Edwards. Here he goes. It's up there, and it's good.
Ice me down, ice me down. That's what he said. Ice me down, my leg is tired.
Official timeout on the field.
Byron out there would have believed.
Let's take a pause with the score. Florida A&M 76, South Carolina State 17. This is the Ramsey Game Day Experience.
2553.
There you have it, the Florida A&M Rattlers. It's their day today. 76-17. We're under the lights at Alltel Stadium in the Orange Blossom Alameda Classic. You're looking at Jeremy Soak My Foot Edwards.
Well, our boss man is getting after today, isn't it, Byron?
Oh, I'm telling you. Yeah. I'm telling you now. He's on top of his game, baby.
On top of it.
And this one is going to go to Chris Russ. Russ at the 10. The 20. Russ got room. Past the 50. Out of bounds.
The kicker.
At the 42.
That's limber leg.
Chris Russ.
Russ even made a tackle.
Nice return by Chris Russ. A little bit of action for South Carolina. Boy, it's been a long day for them today.
A long day.
Walt, you said you wanted to ask Byron, what does a coach tell his player in a situation like this, or even after the game? 76-17. What kind of comforting words would be appropriate?
Well, I mean, the only thing you can do is you can, like Walt said, you take a look from a South Carolina standpoint. You just try to find some positive things that took place on the field. You get down to the basics. It's about, hey, not giving up, playing hard, doing the best you can, finding people that's playing hard and giving effort, like number 41 right there. He's running hard with the ball. And you just try to make them forget this, because there's still a lot of football to be left to play this year and this season. And they got some games they got to come up and win. And they're 2-0. They were a 2-0 football team coming into today. So it's not, this one game does not make their season, and it doesn't break their season. They have to move forward and put this behind them and move forward. Now with FAMU, they're going to have to make sure that they don't get too blown out of shape here. They lost the game last week, tough one to Tennessee State. This is a big blowout, but this is not going to happen every week. They're going to have some opponents that's going to be tough and going to be facing them nose to nose. So they're going to have to do the same thing as South Carolina. They're going to have to forget this, look for some good things, dig hard to find some bad things, some negative things that they did, and view it from a perspective of trying to be a teaching tool. Both sides have to make this a teaching tool.
What FAMU got to do is, when Billy Joe go in Monday, he got to jump on them just like they lost this ball game. He got to get their attention, because the only thing they can see is we scored 76 points, we gained 500 or 600 yards in a total offense, and they never think about those things that they did bad, that they got away with, that he got to correct next week.
That's right.
So he's going to have to come in Monday and get their attention early, and the best way to get their attention is to work the stuffing out of them.
3 minutes and 49 seconds left in the ball game, 76-17. Timeout is being called on the field for South Carolina Bulldogs. Walt, the last time we were here in the stadium on last year, when Florida A&M played Howard University, they scored over 100 points. 61-40 something, I believe it was.
61-42 or 43 like that. Maybe this is a good stadium for Coach Joe. Maybe he needs to talk to Coach Riley about seeing if we can't schedule some more games down here.
Let's flip it down to Chuck Foshing, the player of the game.
Well, hey, guys, let's get ready. Look at your play of the day, brought to you by the United States Postal Service. Look at this good now. You think it's supposed to be a field goal. Well, it's not. Take a look at it. He goes all the way down the field. This is the only bright spot for South Carolina State on this day. Patrick Hurd blocked the punt, and number 20, you see him rolling in. Johnny Loper, the touchback for 2 points. Your play of the day by the United States Postal Service. They deliver for you.
Thank you, Chuck. The play of the game.
It's pretty hard for South Carolina to find any good spots, but that was definitely one of them.
Pass by Shaw, incomplete to Loper, down on the 14-yard line.
You know, that was, I guess, Byron, I can understand the desire to get in the end zone at this stage, but he still was throwing in the triple coverage then, and it's just lucky that it wasn't intercepted. I think South Carolina State need to be just a little more patient. Don't worry too much about scoring right now, because unless you're just scoring for the sake of scoring, but try to make sure that you don't give Florida A&M the opportunity to score again, because the deal is disheartening.
Well, you got Dominique Shaw, a young player in, and I'm sure he's just really just trying to get these guys as much experience as he can.
Okay, once again, let's go back down to the sideline with Chuck Foch with the play of the game.
Okay, guys, you knew I had to come back with the play of the game. Take a look at this. Watch the play. This is your player of the game, number 33 for Florida A&M University, Kenneth Williams. The M-South player of the game, the 63rd Orange Blossom Palmetto Classic.
Okay, 3 minutes and 27 seconds left of the ball game.
Our player Kenneth Williams, he scored 3 touchdowns rushing, and Florida A&M, you know, they don't have that much rushing, so this is probably one of the top rushing games for Florida A&M back in a long time.
Yeah, Williams did an excellent job of taking what they were giving him and being powerful right down the middle. That's what they needed. It kept the defense honest, because they had to play the run as well as the pass. They had to play the pass, and Williams kept them honest playing the run.
That's right.
So we have Daniel Page in as cornerback for the Rattlers.
It goes right back to what you've been saying all day, Byron. FAMU threw the long pass, loosened the secondary up, came back and ran right up the middle, and the kid gained 11 yards. First down for Florida A&M University.
Well, it's been working for them all day, and they're sticking to the game plan.
Chris Payne with a quick one up the middle. Gain of a few yards to bring across to 50 is Kendall Johnson.
For the Rattlers, that's Kendall Johnson. Stop by Brady.
Second down and 4. Payne gives it to Travis Williams.
Travis Williams got the call.
Gets it pretty close to a first, not quite, maybe a yard, maybe 2 yards short. It's brought down by Irvin Manning.
Big old freshman from Bennetville, South Carolina. 6'1", 300 pounds, a ton of muscle.
Travis Williams left the game. Looked like he was hopping, holding the back of his thigh. Got a 3rd and 2. Here's Kendall Johnson. Looks as though he made the first down. Stopped on that play by Andre Pounds. Andre Pounds is out of Atlanta, Georgia. Ball on the 44.
Boys and girls, please help us here at Alltel Stadium by placing your trash in the bags provided by the ushers on your way out of the stadium. Thank you very much.
Quick handoff to Kendall Johnson again. I guess they're just going to let this one just burn the clock up a little bit.
Yeah, that shows that Coach Billy Joe got some class. Now, the kids are trying to score, but at least he's trying to keep the ball on the ground, and you can't ask your kids not to try to score. And but you can keep it on the ground. Let's hope he keep it on the rest of the game.
Gives it to Johnson again. Johnson around the right guard. Johnson brings it on to the 35. And pretty close to another first down. They're playing their hearts out. You have to give it to them. Wilbert Alexander made the tackle from Lancaster, South Carolina. 58 seconds. Clock still ticking. I guess it's not ticking fast enough, though.
I don't know what sideline you on. Billy Joe's sideline is running too fast, and if you know South Carolina State is not running fast enough, you know.
Okay, 76-17 is our score. Let's take a pause. This is the Ramsey Game Day Experience.
With SunshineNetwork.com's Major League Baseball coverage. SunshineNetwork.com, your web source for Florida sports.
Welcome back. This Orange Blossom Palmetto Classic Ramsey Game Day Experience brought to you by South Bank, the relationship people, by Bryan Foods, the flavor of the South, by Parisian and Tommy Hilfiger, get a good look, by the United States Marine Corps, the few, the proud, the Marines, and the United States Postal Service, exclusive delivery of the 1999 Ramsey Classic Tour. You're back at the Orange Blossom Palmetto Classic, guys.
Thank you very much, Chuck. It's been game time today. 76-17, what a score.
Well, now that's class right there. You see they're not trying to run any more plays. They're just taking a knee. They're going to run the clock out. Let these guys get off the field and try to begin the process of healing and forgetting.
Yes, they just let the clock run out at 9, 8, and it goes on and on. I guess it's down to time to do a little handshaking. We see the coaches coming out on the field. All right, there they go.
Ron, if you take a look at it, this is the most overworked, I don't know what to look at it, phase of the game. You and I both know that Coach Jefferson is a gentleman. He'll shake hands. Do you think he really want to shake hands after man beat him 76-17?
Well, look at Billy Joe. He said, look, man, I tried. I gave you a chance. I put my second string in there. I took everybody out except the kitchen sink, and still that's the way it goes.
You know what that reminds me of? One time I was watching a boxing match out of Seattle, Washington. And when they came out to shake hands, to start the fight, the boy hit the other one. Knocked him cold as a biscuit.
Okay, well, as you can see, the players facing each other, and they're going down the line, giving them both congratulations, and, of course, getting set for the next game. So, looking at the bottom of the field, let's take it down to Chuck Fosh.
Well, hey, guys, you hear the sounds in the background. On one side, South Carolina State playing it slow and playing it deliberate because this one is over. Florida A&M University just waiting to do the swan song and the goodbyes because they have definitely dominated this game, as some suspected that they would. Well, my name is Chuck Fosh, and for all of us, we're going to toss it back to the booth now to let these guys say goodnight from Jacksonville, Florida. Had a great time this time, guys.
Thank you very much, Chuck. And on behalf of Walter Reed and Brian Franklin, I'm Ron January saying thank you very much, everybody, for being with us on tonight. Once again, the score is 76-17 in the Orange Alameda Classic. This is the Ramsey Game Day Experience.
Getting cranked up here. NFL This Morning, Sunday on Sunshine.